Welcome to the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day.
He has a bounce, he crosses 50, he pins the ears back, and he drills the goal! You can tweet that and hashtag it bloody good.
It goes high up and under the full foot.
Makes a name for himself with these long bombs from outside the arc. It's a long bomb from outside the arc! Hello and welcome to the first broadcast this year from the Harry Trott Oval, Lakeside and Albert Park for today's meeting between two powerhouse amateur clubs. They played off in the 2017, 2018 and 2023 grand finals. They've accounted for 6 of the last 12 premiership pennants between them. It's Collegians and it's St Kevin's, and it's coming up in about a quarter of an hour. This is the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day, live every Saturday afternoon on vafa.com.au and the SEN app. My name is Paddy Grindlay. Simon Petch, my co-caller today, is a little ways away still, so for now it's a very good afternoon to the man in the special comments chair, the 3-time Coach of the Year, the 2-time Premiership Coach. It's Hugo Higginbotham. Hello, Hugo.
Hello, Paddy. Great to be here. Hasn't the weather changed?
Yes.
It has turned overnight. But this is football weather now. Absolute football weather. And just noticing a little bit of chopped up grass out there in the middle of the ground. Not raining at the moment. And I actually just saw someone have a bounce in the reserves, Paddy. So we could be having a little bit of dry weather footy out there around the ground. But the middle, like all cricket pitches do, is turning into muck.
We will be getting down to our boundary rider, Harrison McIlwaine, in just a few minutes' time for his conditions report. But you're spot on, Hugo. It's been windy, it's been wet all morning. It has cleared up a little bit. We're expecting some sporadic showers over the next 3 hours or so here near the Albert Park Lake. A little bit of wind around, but for the last hour and a half or so, it has seemed to have stabilised, so we're hoping for good conditions across the day. This is a really important contest. So we've got the 2 and 3 Collegians who started the year quite slowly, you'd have to say. They look to have found some form, and they found some players back into their best 22 over the last couple of weeks. Up against St Kevin's, 3 and 2 losses to last year's grand finalists on the road. Scotch back in round 1, Old Brighton back in round 4. But they just seem to be shaping up pretty nicely, and they've brought in 4 debutants last week, all of which have retained their places. So this really does feel like a key contest in what is a really thrilling, I suppose, with matchups round of footy in William Buck Premier.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, these sides always live for each other. There's a real rivalry. It goes back a long way. But you sort of feel from Collegians' point of view, they'd be desperate to win at home. Have not won one here yet this season. A couple of handy ins. I know there have a few more coming in a few weeks. But, you know, we've been 5 rounds of footy, round 6, third of the season. There'll be some reviews going on, how we're going. But there's just something in the air, Paddy. There's something in the air. I think it could be upset week. And it might start right here. Geez, I hope it starts at Derrybell too, for that bloke Pignataro.
It's a big week of footy. We will get to that after we hear from Harrison McIlwaine and Anthony Lynch in a few moments' time. You mentioned the changes for Collegians. These are some interesting ones. So Will Mayhood is back in the side after an infected spider bite.
What about this?
So if there's anything I hear about infected spider bites, usually you retain the sticky hands, or maybe that only happens in comic books. Jim Bazzani's back from the more conventional hamstring injury. Scott Bilby is fit again after dealing with some knee swelling, which has impacted the first parts of his year. Jasper Davey, there was a cloud over his fitness with a back issue. He passed a fitness test on Friday, so he retains his spot in the squad. The 3 out, Zach Bowes, Cooper Brennan and Richie Andrew. It does feel like Geordie McKenzie has, I think, a wealth of riches as far as players to pick from at this point of the year, which is, you've got to be honest, fairly uncommon as we get 5-6 weeks into the season.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good problem to have. You know, Mayhood back in the side, that's a big one. Spider bite, that's baffling. Absolutely baffling. Who bit who? Did the spider bite him, or did he bite the spider?
We'll look more into that over the course of the afternoon. Sorry to cut you off, Hugo, but we'll get to our chat with Anthony Lynch, who was interviewed by our man Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary a short time ago.
Hey, Pluggo, 2 of your last 3. What are you looking forward to about today's game?
Trying to string 2 good ones together. Obviously, Brighton was pretty disappointing, as you know, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, really happy with last week's performance, in particular our last quarter. So keen to bounce into this week. Interesting conditions, not sure what to expect, but hopefully our effort's really strong.
Collegians have been slow starting a little bit this year. Are you looking to exploit that?
Well, we try and start fast every week. We certainly did that last week, but prior to that we haven't been. Very keen to start fast, especially when you're away. I think it's really important that you try and generate your own momentum at away grounds. So we're certainly trying to do that.
You mentioned off air, Critchley's laid out, so how do you look to replace his output?
Yeah, we decided to bring in more of a smaller pressure forward. Like our forward line's reasonably tall, and given that the conditions are potentially wet and windy, we decided to bring in a smaller pressure player. So Tom Feam will come in replacement for Critchley, and Sam Cameron obviously come in for Tom Ferguson, who has been crook all week.
Thanks for your time.
All good, thanks mate.
Great to hear from Anthony Plugger-Lynch and Harrison McIlwaine just a short time ago. So mentioning there, Sam Cameron back from a concussion that he suffered against D-Lar. Tom Ferguson is ill, and then Sam Critchley, who was out of the side. Fian comes in, I think, for only his second senior game, and he played his last one back in 2023. So we haven't seen much of him. Since then, he's played the 38 reserves games and kicked the 26 goals. They are going to opt for a smaller look up front because we expect this game to be played in pretty wet and slippery conditions, Hugo, which is what St Kevin's have trained for.
About that during the week, and he's a great coach. He's been around a long time and saw the weather coming. So scenarios, because you can talk to players and you can tell players how you want them to play, but half of them don't listen. A quarter of them will probably do it.
Your experience?
Yes, from experience. But if you actually get them to train that, it becomes a conditioned response to a certain extent. But look, they're packed with talent, aren't they? The 4 kids come up last week. I mean, Hanrahan from the VFL. But the forward line again. Let's have a look at that. I mean, you've got, how many goals? 9 goals, I think, between them last week. But Kerr is having a stellar season. That could be telling. I know they probably brought in a little bit more forward defensive pressure because the ball will be on the ground at some stages today if this rain comes through. But look, it's an intriguing contest. And from a personal note too, it's got 2 of my favourites out here today.
Oh, yes.
We've got Big Hamish Reamers, and then we've got Jonty.
Big Jonty McGuinness.
Johnny McGuinness.
Your man.
They're both my men. It's like a father choosing his favourite son out of the 2. I'm just absolutely torn here, Paddy. Absolutely torn.
I look forward to you grappling with that scenario across the course of the afternoon as we see both Collegians and St Kevin's running out onto the Harry Trott Oval, which is, as you mentioned, a little bit slippery underfoot, but outside of the cricket pitch areas, it's quite a fast track. St Kevin's, they've got Billy Coates, who's on the horizon after a shoulder reconstruction earlier in the year, or perhaps late last year. Vince Aducci, Elliot Marnie, Jack Marnie, and Ben Mansfield are the other ones who are all close to suiting up. So they've got a returning troop who are ready to go, but it is the young guys who've come in and looked impressive. Dexter Prime, the 18-year-old out of St Kevin's College, and the Sandy Dragons, who was impressive last week. He was joined on debut by Angus Phillips, who's 19, Seb Duffy, a 20-year-old, and then Gus Hanrahan, who's 24, a little bit older, who plays his footy out at Sydney VFL.
Dexter Prime, isn't that the greatest name in football as well? That's someone's handle, isn't it, Dexter Prime? But they're very young side, St Kevin's too, and we spoke about this earlier. It's been a real changing of the guard there. Let's just have a look. We're into that 5-6 game period of the year. Do the young guys maintain that form from last week as well? Because everyone could play a one good one first up. It's backing it up as well.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens in the St Kevin's forward half, because Sam Barnett's kicked 9 goals in his past fortnight. He's got 14 goals on the season, as does Paddy Kerr. The pair of them equal second across top flights goal scoring behind the number 1 goal kicker in the comp, which is Alex Lukic, and the number 11 today for Collegians. One of the most polite men you will ever deal with, Alex Lukic. We interviewed him, Joey Pignataro and I, on the For the Love of the Game podcast a few weeks ago. He texted us to say thank you. He was really forthcoming, gave us a lot of gear. So he's a nice young fella. They seem to be trooping together a bunch of nice young fellas for the Lions, and we'll hear from their coach, Geordie McKenzie, who's another one of those nice people, in just a few minutes'
too
time.
Nice. Too nice.
Their last 5 contests interest me. So Collegians have the edge, 3 versus St Kevin's 2. St Kevin's have won the last 2 of that grouping of 5. St Kevin's have been really low as far as scoring goes, but we'll touch on that in a few moments' time, because right now Harrison McIlwaine has the coach of Collegians, Geordie McKenzie, beside him. Down to you, Harrison.
Geordie, thanks for making time for us. You've been a little bit slow starting the season. How are you looking to turn that around today?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been something we've focused on. So big focus leading into the game. Look, we did it really well against Scotch a couple of weeks ago. So, look, sometimes it's that mindset thing, don't let them throw the first one. So it's been a big focus, and I think we'll see a response.
Great. You're a really strong pressure and tackling team. In wet conditions that are likely going to be slippery today, how do you think that plays in your favour?
Yeah, I think, we're confident the conditions should suit. Look at, the ground's in reasonable nick. There's still going to be opportunities to, be a bit of outside uncontested footy. So we don't want to obviously turn it into a full-blown scrap contested game. But yeah, we think we've got some really good, presence around the footy. Big Jonty in the ruck, Campbell Walker, Pinchy and these sort of blokes from a contested footy pressure point of view. So obviously the challenge is we've been pretty good in that area. Can we bring it against a really good side, when conditions should suit?
Really strong intercept marking team as well. We know that there's quite a few tools that are going to pose problems for St Kevin's. How excited are you to test your skills in that regard today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing is if we get pressure on the ball, that part of our game can be pretty organic. So that's probably where it starts and finishes. We can't sort of unlock that part of our game and unlock our marking forwards as well if we don't bring that contested pressure side of it. So that's the first ingredient for us to be a good side. And once again, the challenge against St Kevin's, can we do it for 4 quarters?
Thanks for your time and good luck.
Thanks to Harrison and Geordie for that chat. This is the Saturday warm-up, all thanks to Mecca, providing care for more than 16,500 people each week across Greater Melbourne and regional Victoria since 1959. We're here in the Holdsworth Pavilion as both sides are warming up. We'll get back down to Harrison in just a few moments' time for his conditions report, with things looking fairly still out there at the moment. I was mentioning, Hugo, before we jumped off, St Kevin's, they've typically been quite a low-scoring side. That's changed a bit this year with how they want to move the footy. If you look at their last 5 scores against Collegians, you've got one ton in there. Last time they played back in round 11 at St Kevin's College, which is also a wet game of footy. And then you're looking at 73, 45, 40 and 55. So typically a low-scoring contest between these two sides as far as St Kevin's is concerned. But considering their form this year so far, Hugo, that might change today.
Yeah, we spoke to Plugger about this as well, and there definitely has been a change of style or system there, just trying to get those bigger scores. It seems they either kick 50 or 100, don't they,
Yep.
Paddy? So on a day like today, it's going to be contested ball everywhere. So not conducive to probably a big, high-scoring game, but weather dependent on that as well. If it stays a little bit dry and with that little bit of breeze around, you can play some good, fast, attacking football, which I'll be looking to do.
For the first time today, let's go around the grounds, all thanks to Aitken Partners. Fitzroy is hosting Old Scotch, in today's William Buck Premier Women's Community TV doubleheader. That's streaming on the Community TV website via the Herald Sun in Indigenous round action for the Roy Girls. They've got a chance to take a big name in amateur women's footy. The reigning premiers, the Scotch Stars, that have proven so formidable under the tutelage of Dean Anderson. On VAFA.com.au in Premier Men's Footy, it's the Old Zaverians and Old Brighton at second versus first at Toorak Park. The best 2 teams of the season to date, I'd say, Hugo, by some distance. The Tunners have the chance to go 2 games clear atop the ladder, huge in only round 6 of the season. Obviously yet to lose a game in 2025. They've been imperious. That's going to be a ripper. Also on VAFA.com.au, Old Scotch hosting the University Blacks at Camberwell Sports Ground, and St Bernard's head out to Waverley to take on the winless De La Salle. The only game that's not being broadcast on that website, Uni Blues and Old Haileybury at Melbourne University Oval. Which is your pick of the bunch today, Hugo?
Geez, that's going to be a great game, the Brighton Zabs one, isn't it?
It really is.
Is the difference playing it at Toorak Park? Because we know how good Brighton are at home, and they've played a lot of footy there this year as well. We know Dan Donati pretty well. He's a great operator, and he'd be really getting the boys up for that game too. He'd absolutely love that one. But the player of the day has to be Matt Donald. Gets behind the glass at Toorak Park while we're out here with the roller door beside us with a great lunch going on, the wind blowing through. What a win for Matty.
He's a lucky boy, is Matty Donald. Tom Jock has just won the toss. He's going to be kicking to the Albert Park Lake end of the ground, which is to the right of your radio dial. And out in the elements is our boundary rider, Harrison McIlwaine, who's on site for our conditions report.
Thanks, Paddy. Yeah, it's 12 degrees down at ground level today. Feels a bit like 9, very blowy. There is a slight breeze, as you said, heading towards the Albert Park Lake. End of the ground. The middle looks a little bit mucky, as you said, owing to the cricket pitch that's in the middle there. But, yeah, it could be a pretty contested brand of football today, I would assume.
Thank you, Harrison. Is that wind looking to be staying around just that gentle breeze that we're seeing? The trees in the background at the Albert Park Lake end of the ground moving just a little bit?
Yeah, I can't imagine it'll get too much blowier than it is already. But yeah, not necessarily a 2 or 3 goal breeze. I think it won't be too much of a factor.
Thanks to Harrison McIlwaine, our conditions report on the boundary here at the Harry Trott Oval. So St Kevin's winning the toss, kicking to the right of your radio dial. Collegians will be going to the Canterbury Road end of the ground for the first time today. Hugo, let's bring in Simon Petch, who's away out of the elements with us here in the Holdsworth Pavilion. Hello, Simon.
Paddy, good afternoon to you, to Hugo, to Harrison and Buttons. Nice to be here at Collegians, and nice afternoon. It is wet. That ground is wet underneath. There are some parts that are a lot drier than others. There is a breeze favouring the City or Albert Park Lake end of the ground, and it is swirly, more favouring the right-hand pocket than anything else out there. But some parts of this ground are dry, some parts are wet, and with the toss being affected, We'll see these sides just line up as Kerr's heading down to the end in which the wind is blowing. Not a gale, but there is a slight breeze.
14 goals for Paddy Kerr on the season. The first quarter coming up, all thanks to Mercedes-Benz Waverley, your destination for all things Mercedes-Benz. Great supporters of Collegians. Contact Craig Howard to get the best deal available. Hugo, your final word before we get things underway.
Yeah, just looking at the two big ruckmen in the middle that are going to get it underway. Might be a tale of which midfield can get on top first. If they can get first use of the ball, they're both very competitive ruckmen. I'm just tipping a little bit of an upset here today, possibly, Paddy. I reckon Collegians might get up for this one. What do you think?
I think it's going to be Collegians at home.
So thrown in the air for Mercedes-Benz of Waverley, and this game is underway down here at the Harry Trott, and we'll have the umpire throw it in the air again. As Anderson for Collegians being held up in the middle. Thrown in the air again, Reimers and McGuinness both got a hand onto that one. So did Winter, they slip over. Walker in there for Collegians. Winter trying to escape, can't do so again. We'll have another ball in the air. Up it goes, hasn't moved too far. McGuinness got a slap that time, straight to Hanrahan though. He goes forward with the kick for St Kevin's. They wait underneath it. Bilby went through his arms, fell to ground. No one could really get a clean possession here. And we'll have a ball up inside the 45-metre arc here for St Kevin's. Attacking to the Albert Park Lake end of the ground. Here at the Harry Trott, thrown in the air again. McGuinness won that one down again. Went to Josh Walker, handball Davey, not a real good handball. Came back here and St Kevin's handball along the ground. And Risky when a kick was smothered. It came back to Davey here. He'll get a kick off his right boot. Back towards centre wing to Putris. Goes up, can't mark. Ball hits the deck, Hart sees it over. And we'll have a ball in centre wing here at the Harry Trott. No score, scoreboard not working. We've gone about 2 minutes into this first term.
So right in front of the Collegians bench, it'll be thrown in some 75 metres out from goal. Reimers and McGuinness, they'll go at it together all day long. It's Reimers with the right mitt who wins it down. Pinchbeck went flashing past the footy. McCleary received the handball of Collegians, kicked it down this broadcast winger. It's fisted out of play. So right in front of our man Harrison McIlwaine riding the boundary. It's Anthony Seaton doing the spoiling, averaging 16.4 disposals this year, 6 rebound 50s, 6th most in the league from Anthony out of the Sandy Dragons. Plays his VFL footy formerly at Sandringham VFL, but he's back full-time this year at St Kevin's. McGuinness at ground level gave it to Campbell Walker, whose kick was smothered. Pinchbeck over the footy, Al Richards over the top of him. We've moved nowhere. It's going to be thrown back up broadcast side wing.
So scoreboard not working down here. We've gone 3 minutes in this first term. St Kevin's with the breeze towards the Albert Park Lake end of the ground. Hodges harassed towards the boundary line. 2 tacklers on him. He won't release the footy that easily. And we'll have a ball up in front of us. We're just on centre wing here. Social Club side of the ground. Both Reimers and McGuinness wrestling. Free kick going Reimers' way. And he'll get the ball moving again here for St Kevin's. So Collegians centre wing is about as close to goal as they've gone so far in this first term. Kick away by Tucker. For St Kevin's goes to centre half forward. Bilby had it, then lost it with a handball. Plenty of players around the footy here at 45 out from St Kevin's goal. And Jones the last one to give the ball up to the umpire.
Just noticing, Petchy, that St Kevin's are really setting up behind the ball. A lot of Collegians players at the contest.
So McGuinness got it down, but Hanrahan stole it from a handball. He goes long to Kerr at full forward. Has it been fisted through? It has. Fisted through in the last line of defence by Warren. Minor score. First one is a minor one to St Kevin's. They go on to one behind 1 point, leading Collegians yet to score. For Mercedes-Benz Waverley, we've gone 4 minutes in this first term.
It'll be manual scorekeeping for the first term. Here's Dylan Thomas, left half back of Collegians. He's a left footer, wants to go into the corridor. That's a risky option. Davey backs back. Got the body position initially. Gunson's with him. Davey now through the centre circles. Has possession, just needs to pick it up. Perry's riding shotgun. Thought better of it. Went to Van Twest instead. They'll push the width of the ground. Here's Boucher in the long sleeves. Dices it backwards. That'll pitch in front of Canny. Picks it up and goes to the middle of the ground. McCleary, Big V nominee last year. Spreads the ball nice and wide. That's a well-weighted kick to Henry Anderson. New recruit out of Maffra. His 4th senior game for Collegians. He's 2 kicks from home. Right half forward. Looked like Lukic fell over there as the kick went inside 50. Tucker brings it out to Jock and St Kevin's will clear.
So out of sight of the ground. Not as slippery over in that area as it is on commentary side. And Al Richards has it. A look at him go. Kick with the right boot up towards half forward over Gill's head. It goes inside 45. He's got clear time here. Picks it up, kicks the goal. So that's their first of the afternoon. And Gill kicks that for St Kevin's. They go on to 1-1-7. Leading Collegians yet to score for Mercedes-Benz Waverley. 5 minutes gone in this first term. And Gill kicks the first of the afternoon.
Yeah, great chain of hands by St Kevin out of the back line there. Didn't panic. Collegians pressed up and they had a really good zone press, but the extra taking of the ground, kicking over the top, just made him get out the back way too easy there. A little bit of lack of communication probably. I think they got caught on the hop there.
Sorry, go on, Hugo.
No, but we'll just see how they bounce back here. But the two big ruckmen, they've got a real wrestling, grappling sort of style up there, haven't they? And let's just see, they're going to go at it all day.
Well, they won't let Gill do that again because he's an opportunist in front of goal.
For Mercedes-Benz Waverley, we're away in the middle of the ground. St Kevin's lead it by 7 points, 1-1-7. Collegians yet to score. A repeat stoppage in the centre circles. McGuinness and Ream, you're right, Hugo, two old-fashioned ruckmen who will enjoy, I think, the mud heap that will develop in the middle of the Harry Trott Oval today. The second time of asking, we can't get the ball moving. So you'd think once the ball gets out of this centre pitch area, centre wicket area rather, it'll get moving rather quickly, as we saw there with Ollie Gill kicking the first goal of the day on the SEN app and on VAFA.com.au. McGuinness with the free kick in the centre of the Harry Trott Oval. Gets a bit of a run up and then kicks it long inside 50. The kick fell short of the pack. Tucker, it spilled off his chest. Here's Pinchbeck out of the pack. A right foot snap. It drifts high into the pocket and falls fortuitously onto the chest of Boucher.
Yeah, good mark that one, because he was looking behind him as the ball was coming down and he knew that he had Hart right on his hammer. It was a good mark there, Nathan Boucher.
Eyes only for the footy, Boucher. In his third game of the season this year, yet to kick a goal. Goes around in the right forward pocket on the left, snaps, and it's tapped through for a rush behind. So the Lions on the scoreboard, they're one behind. St Kevin's 1-1-7. We've played 6.5 minutes of the first term, all thanks to Mercedes-Benz Waverley.
So good mark, just couldn't finish that one off there, Boucher. So St Kevin's with the first goal of the afternoon, and from the kick in they'll favour the outer side of the ground. Winter there, held up in the end, lost the footy. Pinchbeck there, now picked up by Thomas. Left foot kick back inside 45 to Mayhood. Was a ripper, and a Mayhood led out and will have a shot at goal down towards the Canterbury Road end of the ground.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good inclusion with Mayhood back in the side. We'll release Lukic a little bit, but you look what the big fella can do there. That was the bear coming out of the square. Big, strong boy.
And Thomas spotted that and put it onto his left boot. It wasn't a long kick, but it was good enough to find Mayhood on the chest. So to level the scores here, Mayhood, Canterbury Road end of the ground. He runs just inside 45, put it on its way. That looks pretty good. So Collegians kick their first goal of the afternoon. They go on to 1-1-7. Along with St Kevin's also on 1-1-7 for Mercedes-Benz Waverley. Wow, we've gone 7 minutes into this first term, and Mayhood kicks St Kevin's first, Collegians' first goal of the afternoon.
Showing no signs of the spider bite, but I'm seeing some heavy strapping on that leg there. That must have been where it bit him, but that was an excellent lead. Big, strong guy coming in to the side, and just a beautiful execution on goal.
As we mentioned a bit earlier, manual scorekeeping at the moment here at Harry Trott Oval. We are back. So 1-1-7 apiece. Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary pointing that up to us. Thank you, Harrow. We'll get another repeat stoppage in the centre of the ground. So 1-1-7 apiece, approaching 8 minutes gone in the first term, all for Mercedes-Benz Waverley. I think our timekeeping was pretty good, Simon Petch. We were just about spot on.
Yeah, not too bad.
So Reamers with the right hand. That's a gorgeous tap down. He's won it straight to the advantage. It looked like Hanrahan, who was away, who kicked it towards right half forward. It's punched out of bounds. It will go out 48 metres from goal. Nice bit of play from one of your boys, Hugo.
Yes, no, very good there. Very good. There was a lovely, lovely tap. But Hanrahan's done this a couple of times now. They've really got to have a look at in Collegians because he can't have those sort of entries.
Yeah, first game of the season. In fact, first game in the senior squad for St Kevin's last week for Angus Hanrahan. He had 30 disposals, 8 marks, 4 inside 50s, and Anthony Lynch thought he had a pretty nondescript day and realised that he just about led their possession making. So here's McGuinness, just trying to soccer it out of his defensive half, and they do get it clear over the top to Kobe George. In the centre of the Harry Trott, he gets past Hart. He wants to look for Lukic. Lukic was turned the other way. Now Lukic has it. Handball's under pressure. George kept on going. George runs into goal and drills it from 15 metres out, Kobe George. His 5th goal of the season. Collegians have a couple. 2-1-13. They lead St Kevin's 1-1-7. 9 minutes gone in the first term, all thanks to Mercedes-Benz Waverley and Hugo Higginbotham, Simon Petch. That might be a goal of the day contender for Court. Kobe George just running through the centre of the Harry Trott and then following up on his own good work.
Yeah, the pen came out. I've put a little G against his name there, but that was just gut running too. Got that ball at half back, didn't give up. Was a little bit concerned with that little kick that Lukic did not even know was coming. He'll hit him in the back of the head, but great composure there and got the hands away and just that gut running. That is excellent. You love to see that.
Yep, and you want to do it all of the afternoon as well. Just not a one-off, because that's the way the Collegians could win this game, by doing that sort of gut running. As you said, Hugo in the middle again. Pfeiffer head over the football, can't clear it. Hodges a tap with his foot along the ground. It came back to Walker, lost it. Now Jones a handball out here to Gunson, who slipped over. Going with him there was Mayhood. No one can pick it up though. It's really slippery on the commentary side of the ground here. McCleary applied a tackle, but Duke broke it. Kicks towards half forward. Fist away towards the boundary line. Davey there for Collegians. Brought to ground. Got the handball. Back to Bilby, who got it to Cassidy. But a bad kick. He picked out Gunson, and he takes the mark here for St Kevin's right in front of us. Centre wing. 2-1-13 Collegians, 1-1-7 St Kevin's. A kick towards centre half forward there, but chopped off here Josh Walker. And the Collegians will play on from half back.
Walker's eyes went straight to the corridor. St Kevin's blocked it up, so he was forced to go wide across half back to Davey, who's deep in the flank. And again, looking for the corridor, Hugo Higginbotham. So that's what Collegians want to do. St Kevin's have defended it well. So it's Mayhood down the line will be the target with Lukic. Neither could get to the footy. Gunson was clean. Ducks inside. Left foot kick, not much chop. Cut off by Putris, who just tumbles it forward. It's George and it's Seaton. Seaton's going to get there first. Jock arrives. He'll receive the handball on the bounce. St Kevin's escape. Jock goes into the corridor. Barnett leads up. Takes the mark on his chest. Behind the centre circles, Jock riding shotgun, receives the handball now, goes through the middle of the ground, a well-weighted kick. He was hoping for Kerr. It got all the way out the back to Duffy, or Phillips rather. He's now in trouble. Took too long to make a decision. Pounds the ground in frustration as Angus Phillips. He's been caught holding the ball. Free kick going the way of Matt Warren.
So good tackle laid down there. So that's the desperation they need to show here, Collegians, in their defensive half. Kicked to Jock though. He took the mark easily. Brought it down here towards half or centre wing. Mark taken there by Duffy. Now it's in the middle of the ground. And Hanrahan's got it here. Heard the call from Jock. Little handball. Jock's got it. Kick smothered off the boot in the centre of the ground. Mayhood for Collegians has it. Campbell Walker, a handball. Lukic, who came wider here towards George or Thomas. Thomas goes to George. He's got two to beat, and Angus Hart's one of those. He broke George's tackle and got a kick back into the middle of the ground. Mark taken there. And a Pfeiffer ends up with a kick towards centre half forward. Fist away by Davey. A loose football now. Picked up by Gill into goal, missed. So Gill misses that one, taking St Kevin's on to 1-2-8. Trailing Collegians 2-1-13. For Mercedes-Benz Waverley, we've gone just on 12 minutes in this first term.
So St Kevin's are really happy to set up that zone behind the ball where Collegians, all their forwards are coming right up to the middle of the ground to get bulk players around that, but struggling for avenues to goal at some stage because they just don't have any players there, Paddy.
Stobie to Anderson at right half back, the two Maffra boys, they're cousins. They've arrived at Collegians this year, the pair of them, and they've been impressive so far for the Lions. Their movement forward stops at centre wing, far side. Al Richards tight ropes the boundary, wants the corridor. He's run a long way. In fact, he's run too far. So Al Richards, he was short a target, just ended up running almost on the spot. He wasn't moving quickly, was he, Hugo Higginbotham? But he ran further than he was allowed. The umpire pings him. Free kick going the way of Stobie. Sixth game for the Lions, points upfield. 13 disposals, 2 goal assists last week for the number 43 of the Lions. Goes inside 50, shallow entry, Hearts up. 2 hands to it, couldn't bring it down for St Kevin's. Out the side of the contest, Seaton just gets it out in any old fashion. It tumbles towards the boundary. Bilby will cut this off for the Lions. Handball over the top, back to Stobie. Centre wing, far side. Kicks it again. It's a shallow entry. Doesn't quite make the arc of 50. and Hart chops it off. So good defensive structure here from St Kevin's. They control the football on the far side, and now Hart with the decision-making to do from left half back.
So he's got it. He stays out of sight of the ground. Centre wing the target. Richards in front. Palmed it down. Got a handball. Here's Pfeiffer. And he will also dive over the top. And it gets held up centre wing. Out of sight of the ground.
It's a good matchup, this Hart-Lukic one. They're sort of playing ducks and drakes down there at the moment, but I think Hart's having the best at the moment.
Thrown in the air. Going nowhere at the moment. Plays with heads over football. Now Andriski ends up with it. A left foot kick. Bilby eyes only for the football. Reeled it in before the boundary line. That was a great mark. He was going back with the flight of the ball. There could have been oncoming traffic, but he took it well there, Scott Bilby, and he marked and he goes short. Goes into Warren and he takes the mark. For Collegians and half back goes to Davey. And a sling tackle there in mid-air by Barnett. Brought Davey down. All in fairness.
He's got a sore back already, Simon Petch, a fitness test on Friday. That'll give it a good test out.
Sure would, but he's fallen on soft ground out there today, and he goes out wider here. So Collegians with the footy. They work it up to Anderson. He takes the mark here for them. On the outer side of the ground, the hockey centre side of the Harry Trott Oval. Goes up towards half forward with a kick. Pack of players there. McGuinness got it down only as far as Duke. Handball came out here to Pfeiffer. St Kevin's go forward again, but out of bounds on the full, was it? And Canny to get the free kick here for Collegians. So all the play on that side of the ground.
So just noticing Mayhood, he's coming very high up on the ground. He wasn't used that time there, so they're probably struggling for that higher marking option at half forward.
Dangerous kick back across the face of goal. Gill was on the scene to spoil Bilby's lunch. He's going to go over the top. They're going to run one in through Tommy Feehan. That was a shocking kick across the face. And Tom Feehan, in his first senior game since 2023, has a goal, and that's one of the easiest ones you'll ever see kicked. St Kevin's, they move on to 2-2-14. They take the lead at the Harry Trott. Collegians 2-1-13. 15 and a half minutes gone in the first term. That's all thanks to Mercedes-Benz Waverley.
See, I think a few players are struggling out there a little bit, Paddy, with the unsure footing. It's a little bit slippery there. You're trying to get these pinpoint passes, and if you slip a little bit, that's just going to be an easy turnover, which is what it was there. It was probably not a great passage of play. Kick out of bounds and missed inside 45.
Yeah,
but
there wasn't much going on, that's for sure, and end up with Feehan. But yeah, a goal to Gill and a goal to Feehan in a similar circumstances, an open goal square, and it pegs the margin back. St Kevin's 14, Collegians 13. From Mercedes-Benz Waverley, 16 gone in this first term. And once again, these players hug each other in the middle of the ground, and we'll have another ball in the air. Just towards Collegians' goal. McGuinness tried to get a hand onto it, whether he did or not sure. Pfeiffer, now it's flicked out. Came out here to George, who then lost it in traffic. Winter ended up with it, smothered off the boot. Campbell Walker a kick for Collegians down towards full forward. Tackle being laid on there by Hart on Lukic. No one could win this football out. Tucker dives over the top. And we'll have a ball up inside 45 here for Collegians. They trail by a point. 2-1-13 to St Kevin's 2-2-14. 17 gone in this first term, and Reimers palms that one down inside 45 here for Collegians. But a free kick going Pinchbeck's way here. For in the back, obviously, and he'll have a shot at goal. Well, I just thought he dived on it, but obviously the umpire saw more than that, and here's an opportunity to put Collegians in front. He hasn't troubled the scorers so far today, but Pinchbeck's about to do that. 2-1-13 Collegians, 2-2-14 St Kevin's. Just kicking into a slight breeze at the Canterbury Road end of the ground. This to give them a 5-point lead at the 17-minute mark of the first term, and he's missed it. You can just tell the body language as soon as it hit the left the boot. Minor scored a Pinchbeck directly in front of goal. A bad miss by him. Scores a level, 2-2-14 apiece. 18 gone in this first term for Mercedes-Benz of Waverley.
Around the grounds for Aitken Partners, it's University Blacks 21, Old Scotch 0 at Camberwell Sports Ground. Over in Waverley, at Waverley Oval, it's St Bernard's 3-4-22. D-Lar yet to score. So two hot starts there for the Blacks and for St Bernard's. Commentary wing side, here's Reimers at ground level, spreads the handball. Hanrahan has it, thought better of the handball initially, then did give it. And And nowhere to go there for Phillips, who was happy just to take it out of bounds right in front of us, neutral territory between the benches.
Well, you slipped over there, Paddy. It's that unsure footing. There's patches on this ground that's holding a bit of water here and there. They're going to be aware of that.
I might ask Harrison McIlwaine about that in just a few moments' time. This will be thrown in right in front of our man Harrison. So true neutral territory. Holdsworth Pavilion wing right in front of us, calling the action on the SEN app and on VAFA.com.au. Hanrahan wraps up Stobie. Gets a little bit of feedback from Jonty McGuinness for his trouble.
He loves it, Jonty, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly right. Right on the edge of the centre square. Here's Winter. He's got 3 Collegians to deal with. That's far too much for Lukey. And it'll be thrown up again. Simon Petch, I can't get this one to move. How about you?
No, well, it's not moving that far. As soon as it hits the deck, players just want to dive on top of each other. And that's how it stays, really. Oh, gee, Remus nearly gave McGuinness one right across the chops there, but the ball was there, but McGuinness won it anyway. Kick towards the boundary line. Jock will get there first. Oh, he rode a good tackle late on in by Thomas. Got rid of the footballer, handball Bazzani, who goes down towards the 45-metre arc. Fished away there by Hart. Fell here to George. He tried to break a hard tackle and couldn't. Came back here to Owens and Thomas, who goes in towards half forward. McCleary from a bad handball. He ends up with it. Goes to full forward. Target there was George. He dropped what he should have taken. Ball bombed out straight to Phillips for St Kevin's. Collegians totally messed that up, and Gunson ends up with the ball on the outer side of the ground.
Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary.
As you said, it's been a messy spectacle around the ball to begin this game, but it's only going to get worse. The rain has just started falling.
Thanks for that, Harrison. Here's Dexter Prime. His kick, well, that was perhaps impacted by the rain. It was scrubby. It went down the far wing, and now it's coming back to put pressure on the young man. Going forward is Stobie. Kicks to full forward. Hart best possessioned. And he put body on George and then took the mark. He's been so good to start, Angus Hart. Been involved. Here's Hanrahan, right half back. Nowhere to go. Dodges around Thomas. Picks out a corridor kick. It hung in the air for a bit. Off the chest of the Collegians player there. Jock lays a high tackle. And it was Van Twest coming up from half back, who dropped the mark, but then was bailed out by Tom Jock going over the shoulder. So Van Twest from the edge of the centre square, broadcast side, goes inside 50. Lukic got up high, 2 hands to it. Tucker spoiled it away. Hart clears the zone for St Kevin's. A high kick, broadcast side. Davey will get there first with Kerr. And the pair of them help the ball out of bounds right in front of the St Kevin's bench, where Anthony Plugger-Lynch looks on stoically between wing and half forward for St Kevin's. It's 2-2-14 apiece. We've ticked into time on. 21 minutes gone in the first term, thanks to Mercedes-Benz of Waverley.
Considering conditions, 4 goals for both sides isn't a bad start here. Thrown in the air, or back in again from the boundary. Umpire flicked out here. St Kevin's try having possession here. Richards went without it. Bazzani, handball over the top. Bilby at his bootlaces gets a kick down towards half forward. That's out of play. And we'll have a ball in, which will be just inside the 45-metre arc here. 4 Collegians attacking to the Canterbury Road end in this first term. 2-2-14 apiece. We've gone 21.5 minutes in this first term.
Just a bit of afters there, which was why I made that noise. Dylan Thomas just helping Duke into the fence, but then apologising, and no harm done. Simon?
Thrown back in. McGuinness, Remus battle at it. McGuinness got a hand onto that one. Winter tried to break a tackle. All over him there was Pinchbeck. Ball still on the ground. 47 out from Collegians' goal. And once again, we'll have a ball in the air.
Just notice Hart's come up to the very dangerous Kobe George, and that's put, I think it's Tucker back onto Lukic. Yes.
So out of the ruck contest, here's Bazzani, Josh Walker, kick smothered, found Winter, back to Remus, high up and under kick. It'll go close to Cassidy in the boundary line, and Cassidy takes the mark here at half forward for Collegians.
Well, he was called to play on, then he slid out of bounds. The umpire seemed to let play go for a little bit. Now they'll have to conference it up.
Bit of confusion out there.
Umpire's as confused as the players just momentarily, and now we figured it out. So it will be a throw in. Corey Cassidy made all that ground to take a sliding chest mark and then wasn't paid the grab, so he's inclined to feel a little bit frustrated. It is 116th game of senior VAFA footy. The 32-year-old out of Blackburn. Thrown back in. Hodges laying a tackle straight away for St Kevin, so we'll have another repeat stoppage. 2-2-14 apiece. 23 minutes gone in the first term, thanks to Mercedes-Benz of Waverley. It was Ollie Gill with the first goal of the game before Mayhood and George kicked one apiece for Collegians. And once again, it's Hodges and it's Cameron for St Kevin's wrestling over at ground level. And this ball, Hugo Higginbotham has just been locked in tight for the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, we're going to see that today. There's going to be a lot of stoppages.
So Reimers gets McGuinness underneath the footy from this throw up, tapped in the Hodges direction. It goes out the back of the contest. There's Luke Smith, dodged to the inside, got a handball away. Cameron there for St Kevin's. He's got help with Seaton, who kicks it down the wing, gets the territory advantage. It went through the hands of Angus Perry. Bilby is there for Collegians at left half back. Great tackle pressure coming from St Kevin's. And it's Jones who laid a big one. 60 metres out from goal, and we'll get another stoppage, though St Kevin's have the territory advantage, Simon Petch.
Yeah, great tackle there by Jones on his opponent, thrown in the air again. McGuinness goes up, palmed it down to Bazzani, who's ended up with it now. A kick around the body was smothered. Mayhood head over the football. Reimers over the top of him. Umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
Mayhood coming very high up in there. That's half back. That's way too far from the bear from the square.
There's two players in the attacking half of the ground for Collegians, and this ball's only 70 metres out from St Kevin's goal.
Thrown in the air, Cameron there. Came back, St Kevin's still with possession, and Winter gets a kick down towards Kerr, and in the forward pocket, fisted away by Davey. Over the boundary line, and we'll have a ball in. So deep in the right forward pocket, Albert Park Lake end of the ground. That's the end of which St Kevin's kicking this first term. Scores a level, 2-2-14 apiece and 24 and a half gone in this first quarter as rain starts to fall. Thrown back in. McGuinness grabs it out of the ruck, then broke a tackle, put it on her boot. Kick towards Tucker, though. He should mark on his chest and does. On centre wing right in front of us. So as the rain starts to fall, the wind picks up, favouring St Kevin's end. The Albert Park Lake end of the ground. Plenty of players here. Here's Pinchbeck and Winter towards the football. Umpire's blowing the whistle inside 45-metre arc defensively, and McGuinness will get the free kick here for Collegians against Kerr, is it? Or is it Bealby? No, it's going back to McGuinness. He'll clear defence with a handball here to Bealby.
So Bealby kicks it towards us, broadcast side. Tucker best positioned here of St Kevin's. It's spoiled away by Lukic. Who had to come from a few deep, Hugo.
We're deep into red time here now, so I think Collegians are going as many men around the ball as they can. They just got to lock it down. They don't want to give one away because that rain's getting heavy too.
Yeah, it's just intensified. I think Harrison McIlwaine is going to be putting in a shift today on the boundary. It's thrown back in, attacking side of the wing for Collegians, or St Kevin's rather. Reimers was dispossessed by McGuinness, his opposing ruckman. And there's a holding the man free kick going the way of Reimers. So those two, they'll be certainly acquainting themselves over the course of today's game. Tough competitors. Hamish Reimers, who's carved out a nice career for himself in the reserves, usually for St Kevin's, goes with a shallow entry inside 50 at the Albert Park Lake end of the ground. It dribbles off the knees and ankles of the pack, and then outside of the forward 50 for St Kevin's, where it's wrapped up. Hodges doing the tackling of St Kevin's. 65 metres out, right half forward. Scores level. Gone 26 minutes in this first term, thanks to Mercedes-Benz of Waverley. And this ball is destined to go right back out of bounds again. Campbell Walker's handball a little bit hot. So Simon Petch will have it thrown back in. You're right, Hugo Higginbotham. It's felt tight here. Collegians happy with their start to this game, but just ratcheting up the pressure now.
Yeah, and we're looking for the boundary line then too. They just want this quarter over. They're too close to the Scob goal here.
Thrown back in, McGuinness palmed that one down. Dylan Thomas went, oh gee, I tell you what, Butris ended up getting a whack there and he felt it. No free kick going his way. Kick inside 45 here for St Kevin's. McGuinness roved it okay. Slippery ball got on his boot. Davey went the fisted punch. It found Mayhood, who has to get around with a handball. It did okay, but then Jock got in the way there of Van Twest. Now Gunson ends up with it. For St Kevin's goes to Richards. He marks inside the centre square. And with the breeze in his back, he's just saying he's going to go long because that wind has picked up to the Albert Park Lake end of the ground. He goes as long as he can, all the way to full forward, fist through, and it's a minus score, taking St Kevin's on to 2-3-15, leading Collegians 2-2-14 for Mercedes-Benz Waverley, 27 and a half gone in this first term.
Well, they did well to get back and defend that Collegians against St Kevin's, but going to be hard to mark that ball now.
Yeah. Like there's a boil-over happening at Camberwell Sports Ground. University Blacks 34, Old Scotch yet to score. Dying stages of the first quarter. Collegians get it to halfway. Jock cuts it off. Mayhood's behind him. He's got him. There's a bear in there.
But didn't he get a kick to that?
Will Mayhood.
That ball hit his boot?
Oh, I think the umpire was blindsided there, Petchy. I reckon he's
way over there.
He's a long way away. He's trying to stay dry, mate, I think.
So Will Mayhood, run down tackle, broadcast
Seriously?
wing. And just kicks it in the McCleary direction down the line. Tucker gets in front and marks the ball like it was dry, Sammy. Behind the footy this year after a really strong year across half forward in the wing in 2024. Anthony Lynch has moved him back to a half-back slot where he's been Pretty interesting and fairly exciting, I think, with his ball movement and his marking ability and his creative use. His kick went towards half forward where it was punched out of play by McGuinness and a few other players. So right in front of Collegians' bench. 28.5 gone, first term Mercedes-Benz Waverley all four. 2-3-15 St Kevin's, 2-2-14 Collegians. It's been a contested start to this game in what's now driving rain at the Harry Trott. Jasper Davey at the back of the contest. Got a handball away to Stobie. Kicked it towards the centre circles. It's all St Kevin's. They can raffle it. Dexter Prime picks it up. Goes to Gunson on the wing. And kicks it to Barnett at left half forward. Leaking forward is Hanrahan. Barnett has intentions inside 50. Goes in that direction. The kick carried over the top of Duffy's head. McGuinness got a hand to it. And McGuinness will be helped out by Walker. That's Josh in tackling this ball to the ground. And we're going to throw up 45 metres out from the St Kevin's goal.
So they've had much of the play here, St Kevin's, but only registered 2 goals for the game so far. Here's Barnett. Handball back to Gunson, standing still. From a standing still start, looked at Kerr, gave it to him, fist away. He was the meat in the sandwich. It fell down and away they go again, Collegians out of defence. A kick high up and under, and I thought the umpire had his hands in the air for the siren then.
Yeah, I think it has
Bark,
gone.
he did, yep.
It has gone.
You were right.
Okay. Because the players obviously didn't know. They didn't obviously hear it. And that is quarter time here down at the Harry Trott Oval. And the away team lead, 2-3-15 St Kevin's. Collegians on 2-2-14. That quarter going 29.5 minutes for Mercedes-Benz of Waverley.
So singles for Ollie Gill and Tom Feehan for St Kevin's. One apiece to Will Mayhood and Kobe George for Collegians. Interesting start to this game. The SEN Match of the Day streaming on the SEN app and on VAFA.com.au.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Quarter time at the Harry Trott Oval. It's Collegians 2-2-14, trailing St Kevin's 2-3-15. And I have a bit of a weather update for you, Hugo Higginbotham and Simon Petch. It is absolutely bucketing down. Our boundary rider Harrison McIlwaine is manfully standing at the edge of the St Kevin's huddle, and he is getting a drenching. So we're sending someone out to you, Harrow, to pick up a brolly, but we might cross out to you now if we can. Have you got hypothermia yet, mate? Because you're wearing the shorts. How are you coping?
I tell you what, the dry as a bone is really getting its money's worth this afternoon. We'll have to see if it's all it's cracked up to be. But this is what we love about local footy, I suppose, gents.
Yes, spot on. You've got our huddle report in just a few moments' time for Mercedes-Benz Waverley. Anthony Lynch will be speaking to Harrow in just a couple of minutes' time. Before we break down that first term, let's go around the grounds for Aitken Partners. For more than 100 years, they have helped extraordinary people and businesses thrive. They're your legal partners for life through every stage of life's journey. At Camberwell Sports Ground, we'll start there. That's the story, Hugo Higginbotham. Old Scotch 1 straight 6. University Black 6-4-40 So 34-point lead for the University Blacks over the reigning premiers. At Melbourne Uni Oval, it's the Blues 2-1-13 leading Old Haileybury 1-4-10. At Waverley Oval in East Malvern, it's 4-4-28 St Bernard's, 2 behinds D-Lar. And the score we've got at Toorak Park at the 2:30 start, of course, so Old Zaverians yet to score. Old Brighton just the one behind that game, just a few minutes old.
It's the Blacks and Scotch one. That's 10 shots on goal Blacks have had to 1 single shot on goal. And in conditions like this, I'm sure if it's raining here, it's going to be raining there as well. That's a big start to the game. Very big start to the game.
Yeah, Matty Grocott's got 2 goals. Clark, St Clair, Gray, and the skipper Campbell Moorfield with a rare goal out at Camberwell Sports Ground. That game is streaming, of course, live and free on vafa.com.au, so you can put us in your ears on the SEN game and be watching whatever's going on at Camberwell Sports Ground. The Cardinals down by 34 points at the first quarter break. In this game, though, it was the first goal of the game for Ollie Gill of St Kevin's, and then 2 in a row for Collegians, Mayhood and George, before Tommy Feehan responded. We didn't have a goal for the last 14 minutes or so of that first quarter as the weather worsened. Hugo Higginbotham, who had the best of that first term?
It was a tale of two halves, really. I think, they were probably opportunistic goals that Scob kicked out the back. Collegians probably let themselves down a little bit with that high pressing.
We'll get back to you in just a few moments' time, because Harrison McIlwaine has the coach of St Kevin's, Anthony Plugger Lynch. There are 2 drenched men out there in front of me on the Harry Trott. Down to you, Harrison.
Plugger, conditions are atrocious. How important is it to win the territory battle in the second quarter?
It's massive. I think it's going to become a bit of a game of rugby now, mate. So, scores will be hard to come by. So, when the ball goes in, it needs to stay in there. With the score or get another stoppage.
The ruck battle's been really interesting to watch between Jonty McGuinness and your man Reimers. How have you seen that play out in the first quarter?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Jonty, but I think they're 2 pretty young guys. Like Reimers is only 23, only played 5 or 6 in the game. So, no, I think they're going well, and their ability to get those big hits forward and get some momentum is going to be key.
Good luck, mate. Thank you.
Thanks to Anthony Lynch and to Harrison McIlwaine braving the conditions for us. Yep, Jonty McGuinness, 24 years of age, turns 25 in December. The boy out of Sale, who made his senior debut back in 2021 and arrives at Collegians for 2025. Interesting, the game of rugby that might develop, Hugo.
Absolutely. It's going to be a delight for those strong, hard mids and in and under sort of stuff.
All for Community Bank Morvan East. It's the second quarter with Simon Petch.
Sure will be. In and under is the way to go. No high flying here today. And second term underway, and it's still in the middle as Josh Walker clears it here for Collegians, down towards half forward, over Andriski's head. Mayhood just burst his way to this scene. He dives on the footy. Oh, he nearly threw that. It was a throw.
Certainly was.
And Jock ends up with the free kick. No, it'll go back, and Tucker will end up with it. So a throw by Mayhood as the Collegians go forward, but now kick by Tucker back into the middle, and Andriski takes the mark. Still raining out there in the on the ground. Here is Andriski, goes towards centre wing, and marked right in front of us is Gill. Not a bad day for him. He goes towards half forward at the back. Bilby went the fisted punch, fell to ground. He tried to bring it back underneath him, Bilby. Now Pinchbeck ends up with it. He's brought to ground and lost the football. And the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
Liam Gunson just got the knee of Scott Bilby right into the buttocks, so he'll be feeling that one.
So no addition to the quarter time score. 15 playing 14. St Kevin's have the lead. Down at St Kevin's end. Winter goes with a kick. Cassidy chops it off. It goes close to the boundary line. Boucher's ended up with it. Gets around, gets a kick back towards half back. Now Richards, handball hit a Jock out of bounds on the full. And the resultant free kick to go.
It's going to be a very slippery pill out there now, so we're seeing a lot of chest marks. This is where the small defensive players are going to come into it. The ball's going to be on the ground. If they can get that, get first hands on it, you don't have to do anything flashing this sort of stuff, Paddy.
One of those is Nathan Boucher. Simon Petch, who's got the free kick at right half back for Collegians, intersection of the defensive arc of 50 and the boundary line. Runs around on his left, kicks it towards us. Putris in the pack. Reimers came in third man up, and with a double fist got it out of play.
We love a double fister from the big man. It's going to be interesting with him and Jonty, that battle today. It's whoever gets in front, I think. Front spot's crucial on wet days.
So half forward for St Kevin's, right in front of Anthony Plugger Lynch on the boundary. The 2 young fellas, Reimers and McGuinness. It's McGuinness of Collegians who won it down at the front, and then we'll follow up at ground level with Pinchbeck. They both went after the footy, neither got it. It ended up out of play, and the umpire pays insufficient intent against Collegians.
Oh, fair dinkum.
That's a tough call.
Oh, just. Hey, Where does this come from, Hugo? I don't know. You're a coach.
It's a recent invention.
Gunson.
So I've got grey hair, Petchy.
Broadcast swing goes to the arc of 50. Davey Thurman in, got the spoil down only as far as Richard, 60 metres out, who kicks it to the corridor. It'll favour Hanrahan. It just needed to sit for him. It didn't. Getting all the way back. Is that Barry Mayhood? No, it's Smith on hands and knees. He was after the footy. This ball's still live. Maybe a high tackle might be picked out here. It looked like Warren went high. And free kick going the way of St Kevin's. Sam Barnett, who's got some forward craft. 9 goals in his last fortnight. Will go back for a chance at number 15 on the year.
Just seeing that sort of that wrestling, grappling sort of stuff going on out there, and you're going to get free kicks like that today because the nature of how blokes are throwing themselves in.
Goals hard to come by today. It's currently St Kevin's by a point. Barnett, 4 goals last week, 5 the week before that against Old Brighton. He is just about directly in front, 30 metres out. Shouldn't have an issue with this one. He puts it through. 3-3-21 St Kevin's, 2-2-14 Collegians. Back out to 7 points is the lead at the Harry Trott. And that's all thanks to Community Bank Melbourne East. Not only giving you access to award-winning financial products and services, but they're also committed to returning profits to their local communities. Barnett with his first of the day, Simon Petch and Hugo Higginbotham.
It's just that wrestling sort of grappling, moving that ball forward. So what we've got to try and do is get away from the dry weather footy. These sides have been playing all year. You want to see just long down the line, boundary side, repeat stoppage. We just keep inching it forward. And then, like Plugger said, when the ball's in your forward half, you've got to keep it there. That's got to be the key moving forward now.
So 21 playing 14. St Kevin 7 points in front. 4 minutes gone in this second term for Community Bank of Melbourne East. Down here at Collegians home ground. So the rain has just about eased. Thrown in the air again. McGuinness palmed that one down. Richards on hands and knees. Heard the call from Jock. Gave the handball. Smothered by Bazzani. Goes back here towards Duke. He picked it up and quickly got a handball. Here to Hanrahan for St Kevin's, who cleanly delivers up towards centre wing. Fist away there from Gill. Ball fell to ground. Players go down over the top. And we'll have a ball up centre wing out of sight of the ground.
Seeing once again that big punch in the air. It's a backman's dream today. It's a backman's dream. So what you want is your small front and centre every time. That's where the ball's going to go.
Hockey centre side of the ground, and Josh Walker over there. Head over the football. Got a handball to Bazzani. For Collegians, goes towards centre wing with a kick. No one takes the mark. Fell to ground. Here's Mayhood. Put his body in over the football. Got the handball out. They go again through Bazzani. Do Collegians up to Lukic. He didn't go the contested mark there. He stayed down. Hart did all the work. He goes towards the boundary line. It goes over, and we'll have a ball in. So Lukic nearly beat him. Hart went the spoil. Lukic went out the back, but the ball eluded him, and Hart sees it over.
Yeah, he's prone to a little bit of a lapse in concentration, Lukic there. He took his eyes off the ball, was really concerned about where Hart was. Hart's winning that battle down there.
So about to be thrown back in, left forward pocket, Albert Park end of the ground. That's the end in which Collegians go. Reamers palms it down in front of him. Oh, gee, George took a dive there. The umpire certainly didn't fall for that, but Pinchbeck ends up with it. He goes into goal and missed. Minor score there to Collegians, taking them on to 2-3-15. St Kevin's 3-3-21. For the Community Bank Melbourne East, we've gone 6 minutes in this second term.
Just notice Reamers coming this side of the ground. No, they're going the other side of the ground, but are they going to go for distance here? I think they will.
So it's a long kick from Tucker from fullback, who kicks it as far as he can. Duffy a hand to it for St Kevin's. Davey wrapped up by Hanrahan. And we'll get a ball up. It's between wing and half forward for Collegians. They trail it by 6 points. The lead's only got as far as 7 today. McGuinness and Reamers resume their battle. Reamers spikes it straight to Boucher of Collegians, whose kick was touched on the way through to Bazzani. He moves it forward by hand. So Collegians will go inside 50. It's a high kick. Who can get under this one and play fair? Mayhood went up for it, couldn't bring it down. So St Kevin's player down in back play, who the ball ricocheted off. Josh Walker tracks it to the top of the goal square. Gunson cuts it off. And then he had a shocker trying to kick it out. It came off his ankle and it went out of bounds on the full. So Dylan Thomas will take the free kick in the left forward pocket. Remember, he is a left footer. So this would be a really tricky kick for Dylan.
Especially with how slippery that ball is, Paddy. We just saw that then. He just tried to absolutely roost that as far as he could, and he just almost missed it.
Thomas wastes no time. Outside of the left boot. That is perfect from Dylan Thomas, who had no issues with the slippery Sharon. From 20 metres out, right up against the boundary. Wasted no time and put it straight over the head of the goal umpire. And Collegians has its third. 3-3-21, joining St Kevin's at 3-3-21. We're locked up again, 7.5 minutes gone in the second term. That's all thanks to Community Bank Malvern East.
So we're just talking about adjusting to the conditions, Paddy. You notice some guys, this is one where you don't want to overuse a handball today. That wants to be that long kick down the line if you have to advantage. Hopefully the player can run onto it, but you can't try and pinpoint passes today.
No, and kicks along the ground will be advantageous as well, Hugo, if they can do that as well, especially out of the centre square, where it's just being held up all the time as they go down and be tackled. Here's Pinchback, got it out to McCleary, kick along the ground by Cameron. Still just outside the centre square now, Campbell Walker got a kick for Collegians. So Lukic, he went up, he couldn't bring that one down, but a free kick against Hearts, and Lukic will take it.
Intriguing battle, this one. Hart seems devastated there with that one. That was probably one of the better ones the umps have played for the day.
Well, from where I'm seeing, it didn't look much in it. But anyway, Lukic has got it. They were both eyes only for the football. One going the spoil, one going the mark. And the one going the mark ends up with the free kick. So with the breeze in his back, Lukic on the outer side of the ground. Kicked 3 last week, looking at his first goal of the afternoon, and Collegians second within a couple of minutes, which will be a good fill-up for them. As Lukic runs inside the 45-metre arc, Albert Park, Lake end of the ground. Goal umpire hasn't moved.
Beautiful kick.
And that's a beautiful kick off the boot, and Lukic kicks his first. And Collegians kick their fourth. They go into 4-3-27, leading St Kevin's 3-3-21. For Community Bank Malvern East, we've gone just on 8 minutes in this second term.
Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary.
In devastating news for Hugo, his 2 boys have just come off for a spell, so we've got to look at the backup ruck options for both these sides to restart play.
You've made him cry, Harrison. That's exceptionally harsh. Do they both look still fit and having a crack at each other as they were making their way off?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a spell. No issues.
So it'll be Jones and the goal kicker Lukic back in the middle of the ground. Thank you for that, Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary for us and braving the conditions. Here's Pinchbeck, goes to Bilby, kick back into the centre circles. Boucher will come up at it, lays a tackle on Duke and dispossesses him. Duke recovered well, laid a tackle of his own, attacking side of the centre circles, will be thrown up.
Getting a bit animated out there, the boys, getting a little bit frustrated. Good to see.
So Collegians just slightly with the territory advantage. Lukic reached over Jones and won the tap down. Smith tapped it on. Getting through the contest was Winter, and St Kevin's clear the area. It's a outside of the boot kick that fell onto the chest of Gill. Did a somersault while marking. In front of Davey from 80 metres out. Puts it in the Kerr direction. He's got 2 to deal with. Good luck with that, Paddy. Goes out of play just as Liam Gunson threw a wild boot at it. Had it stayed in for a moment longer, it would have been out of bounds on the full. Gunson gets a reprieve, so it'll be thrown in. Left forward pocket for St Kevin's. 4-3-27 Collegians. 3-3-21 the Scobbers. 10.5 gone. Second term thanks to Community Bank Malvern East. Hugo Higginbotham will talk to us, I'm sure, about the stack of numbers around this footy as Kerr wins it down at his bootlaces and it will be tied up straight away, so we'll get another stoppage.
And this is what Collegians do. They love getting the numbers back, trying to crowd the space, as we just see that ruck tap, but this is where they are again, bottom of the pack.
So here's Gill. Well, he tried, but he couldn't because he was held up and he lost the football. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up again inside the 45-metre arc. Here for St Kevin's, not far out from goal, down at the Canterbury Road end of the ground. Umpire throws it in the air. Kerr will go with Lukic. Kerr got it, put it onto his boot, smothered it, got some distance. Now Phillips in the goals, kicked it. So we got some distance there, Kerr. He kept palming it forward. Phillips ended up roving it beautifully, put it on his boot and kicked their goal. So they've kicked 4. 4-3-27. Collegians on 4-3-27 for Community Bank Malvern East. 11.5 gone in this second term, and Phillips kicks his first goal of the afternoon.
Yes, that was good play by Big Kerr there. He was never going to take that ball, just kept moving it forward, and perfect positioning there, front and centre. That's where the ball's going to go all day. And another opportunistic goal for the Scobbers. That's where they're going to have to come today.
Plenty around the football too. At that time, could have been anyone's footy and ended up in the hands of Phillips, and he kicked it.
So 4 goals in 11 minutes in the rain. It's some scoring that betrays the conditions here at the Harry Trott Oval. Lukic wins it backwards. Walker tried to tow it to his own advantage. Couldn't get possession of the footy. Richards now for St Kevin's goes to Hodges, who goes to the edge of 50 metres. One-on-one. One down by Cassidy via a spoil. Free kick going the way of St Kevin's. Advantage taken by Gill. His kick carries to the line where it's spoiled down. Here's Kerr again. He'll be wrapped up. Got it towards Barnett. He's dragged down on the goal line. They're scrapping right in front of the goal umpire. And eventually it's rushed over for a point. So St Kevin's moved to 4-4-28. Collegians 4-3-27. 12 and a half gone.
So ball kicked back in. They waste no time, the defensive Collegians, and it's over the line out of play out of side of the ground. We'll have a ball in. So another missed opportunity for St Kevin's there. After Phillips kicks a goal, a missed opportunity there. About to be thrown back in. Hockey centre side of the ground. 80 metres out from, or 90 metres out from St Kevin's goal, out of side of the ground. Jones does the bustling work, allow Cameron in. And now, once again, Hodges on the bottom of the pack will have a ball in the air. Thrown in the air again. Lukic to himself, really, and deliberately over the line out of play. Well, it probably slipped out of his hands, but anyway. Here's Winter with the free kick, and he'll take it out of sight of the ground. Still it's on the hockey centre side. He goes towards half forward. Up they go. Fist away Van Twest. It went behind him. It's favoured Phillips. A kick off the ground nearly went through. And it's gone through for a minor score. Taking St Kevin's on to 4-5-29. Collegians 4-3-27. For Community Bank Malvern East, 13 and a half played in this second term.
Around the grounds briefly, Old Brighton 2-2-14 leading the Old Zavarians just the one behind early stages of that game. Ball back inside 50 for St Kevin's. Arc of 50 and the edge of the boundary line. Hart just held onto the tackle a little bit long. And there'll be some afters. No free kick paid, and Hart and Putris just getting themselves acquainted. At left half forward for St Kevin's, it all blows over. Hugo Higginbotham.
Yeah, I'm just noticing at every stoppage, Collegians crowding the stoppage and just leaving that gate open to goal for Scott.
The voice of the three-time Coach of the Year, Hugo Higginbotham, in the special comments chair for us this year. Here's McCleary, centre wing, broadcast side. Well tackled. His handball went straight to Seaton, who exclaims in fury as he kicks it straight out of bounds on the full, right in front of his coach, Anthony Plugger Lynch. So the free kick going the way of Josh Walker, right half back for Collegians, broadcast side wing. Get down to Harrison McIlwaine with the conditions shortly, but it does look like that rain has eased off a little bit. Still falling as we see it.
Damage is done now, Paddy. She's a wet ball out there, mate.
You're lucky to be tucked in the Holdsworth Pavilion.
I'm getting wet here, actually.
Harry Trott, you are getting a bit of a sprinkle, Hugo. Make you feel alive. Josh Walker goes down the wing. Past halfway, Mayhood leapt early. It went over his fist. He picks the ball up at ground level, does the big bear. Hacks it inside 50, a one-on-one. Smith tracking it back with Richards. Richards won the day. Goes across his own defensive goal square. He might have run too far. He just runs directly through the behind. And he's given away a free kick for a deliberate rush behind. He had no options, Richards. So he darted across the behind line.
Well, he had not.
Illegally.
He could have kicked it. He could have absolutely booted that 45 metres away.
Or did the Collegians player run away from him, allowing him not to be under any pressure to do that?
Well, Luke Smith, who took the free kick, he had a shot at goal. He hit the wrong side of the prune, and it bounces out of play. Or in fact, it might be out of bounds on the full in the opposite forward pocket. So from the right forward pocket to the left one, St Kevin's will get the ball back through Jack and Drisky. That's not a few moments for the highlight reel. Hugo Higginbotham.
Why wouldn't you kick a drop punt there? It's a horrible condition.
Don't get me started on that, Hugo, please.
I thought that might have.
Dylan Thomas had a decent effort from the opposite pocket, so just trying to follow up Dylan's good work.
There is plenty of daylight between those goals. They're not deep pockets. Just put it on as a drop punt. You might score something. What a wasted opportunity that was. And even Pharrell Richards, you would have thought that he may have put that onto his boot and cleared the defence, but unlike him, he made a mistake. You don't often see him do that. Thrown in the air again. Remus palms it out the back here. Josh Walker is onto it. Pfeiffer nearly got there to him. Now it came back. Kick away by Pinchbeck for Collegians. Goes towards half forward. And Drisky fist away there from him on George. And it goes over the line out of play. We'll have a ball in. 45 outs from Collegians' goal. 29 playing 27. 8 goals scored for the game. We've gone 17 minutes in this second term, and St Kevin's lead by 2 points in conditions that are winter-like. It is raining, but the player's not been too bad. Here's Remus, palms it down to the front of the pack. Hodges picked up, tackled, lost the footy. George ended up with it. Hodges tackled him. Came back to Mayhood, who now, and there's another handball to Anderson. For Collegians, goes towards half forward, into the forward pocket. Seaton fist away. Mayhood head over the football again as Thomas sees the ball over the line out of play. We'll have a ball in.
It's good play by Mayhood there. He's really crashing packs now. He's wanting to get involved. Biggest rover I've ever seen, Paddy.
2-point game. St Kevin's lead it elsewhere for Aitken Partners. University Blues by 16 points over Old Haileybury as this ball is thrown back into play at the Harry Trott. Remus wins it down on his bootlaces. It skips on to another contest. It's a bit of game of tunnel ball out there. Prime went backwards. Got it to Seaton. He just snaps it as high and as far as he can. Big contest. Duffy down as well as McCleary. Richards is away through centre half back. Kicks it past the centre circles. He's got men leaking forward, although it's spilt down the front there. Looked like it was Jones. He slid on his knees and picked up the footy, recovered well. Hit the fat side of the footies. He snapped it towards the hot spot. McGuinness gets back for Collegians and takes the defensive mark. The ruckman goes out to the far side of the ground to left half back where he finds Corey Cassidy. St Kevin's had a chance for a fast break goal there, Simon Petch, but just couldn't execute at the critical moment.
Yeah, another missed opportunity for them. You've got to take your chances today, that's for sure and certain. Ball on the outer side. Josh Walker's got it for Collegians. Goes towards centre wing. No one takes the mark. Out the back there is Thomas. Bent down, picked it up, gave the handball to Mayhood. Away they go, Collegians. Kick inside 45. In fact, goes all of the way. It goes out of bounds on the full. It went that far. And the resultant free kick to go to St Kevin's. So missing at both ends of the ground here won't help, because a big lead in this game, the way the conditions are, will probably be a winning lead. But at the moment, St Kevin's lead by 2 points, 29 playing 27. St Kevin's kicked the ball back towards centre wing. Cameron there was, well, he was tackled high, no free kick. Fell to McGuinness, kick away by Mayhood. Found Cassidy, who found Pinchbeck. Collegians go forward to Walker. It bounces past him into goal.
That's a goal.
And Pinchbeck's kicked it. So it's come off his boot, it bounced inside the goal square. It kept bouncing forward and Collegians kicked their fifth. They go on a 5-3-33, leading St Kevin's 4-5-29. For Community Bank Melbourne East, 19 minutes played in this second term, and Pinchbeck kicks that goal for Collegians.
Great goal by Pinchbeck. That was set up by Big John McGuinness. He's roving the ball off the ground. He just keeps surging forward, got the little hands out to advantage, and then great goal by Pinterest. But the Scrub guys came very high then too and left the square wide open.
Yep, sure did, and that's his first goal of the afternoon.
First goal of the year as well, Simon Petch for big Maxi Pinchbeck, who loves these conditions. He had 20 tackles last week, if you don't mind, against the University Blacks. So likes the rough stuff. 4-point leaders, the Lions, back in the middle. Your man McGuinness against your man Remus, Hugo. It's kicked towards centre half forward for Collegians. It'll skip on and ends up in the hands of George momentarily. He switched to the long sleeves jumper, and that might have helped him tackle there. There's a little bit of a push and shove that ensues just at right half forward. Seaton the last to get up. He's okay.
Still going on.
Still going. Pinchbeck and Jock and McCleary all getting involved. The umpire just needs to throw this one up to get play restarted.
A lot of respect between these two sides.
Now does so. So McGuinness punched forward by Andriski from that contest. Winter lays a tackle, and we'll do it all again. 50 metres out from the Collegians' goal. 3 goals to 2 this quarter for the home squad. They lead it by 4 points. We've just ticked into time on in the second term. For Community Bank Malvern East, it'll be locked underneath the pack of players again from that throw up. So contested footy, surprising none, Simon Petch and Hugo Higginbotham. It's currently Collegians, though, that are having the best of conditions.
45 out from their goal at the Albert Park Lake end of the ground, and once again Pinchbeck has to give the ball back. So thrown in the air again. It hasn't gone too far in the last 3 ball ups, and it'll happen again as Andriski puts his head over the football. 4-5-29 St Kevin's, trailing Collegians 5-3-33. 20 minutes gone, or has that clock stopped?
Yes.
Now that clock stopped.
We're down 21 now.
We'll have another ball up. So this is ball up number 5, 45 out from Collegians' goal. Players have got smiles on faces out there. Thrown back in the air. Remus palms that one down. Head over the football, Bazzani. Want to flick it out. He brought it back in underneath him. Umpire, did he have a good look at that? He did. He said, give it to me again. So what they need here is a big fisted punch out of the area here to clear the area.
Jock
just
and
see what
Pinterest.
happens. And that's what McGuinness tried. So did Tucker towards the boundary line, getting there first. Gunson head over the footy. McCleary into his back. Came back into George. And Barnett just sees him over the boundary line. We'll have a ball in.
St Kevin's done a really good job on Kobe George. He was looking very dangerous early too, and he's no time and space for him out there. 23
minutes gone in this second term. 33 playing 29. Collegians have the lead. Thrown back in centre wing. Reamer's palmed it down. Found Winter, who's brought to ground with a great tackle.
Pay it. Oh, you got to pay that.
The umpire says, "Give it to me. I'll ball it up."
Felt like you've got investment in the outcome for Jonty McGuinness, Hugo.
Oh, I've got one on each team, so it's a 50-50.
Back play. If you watch this game on VAFA TV and the replay, as Winters clipped high, the umpire called play on. We'll get back to my thought in a moment. Hanrahan has it for St Kevin's across half back. There's a bit of going on in back play, which we'll get to. Meanwhile, Lukic is going to track this down at left half forward for Collegians. Picks up the footy, Boucher leaking forward. Lukic has a better idea. He goes towards Anderson. He couldn't take the mark at ground level. Handballed back in the direction of Lukic. St Kevin's take it away. They kick it as far as they can to a 2-on-2. No one's ahead of this contest. Philby dropped the mark. Really needed to take it. Got the handball away. Tracking it now is Nick Canny. He'll do well to get this ball out of bounds under Gunson pressure. And does. It'll be thrown in centre wing, far side of the ground. Jonty McGuinness, your man Hugo Higginbotham, getting involved in a bit of a Barney in back play.
Yeah, that's just run of the mill for a boy from Sale.
Very much so.
Friday night going to get the milk.
Bit of wet weather. Doesn't mind it. And Tommy Jock and Will Putras, as I was mentioning a few moments ago, getting themselves really well acquainted in a one-on-one contest. Boucher skips a kick down the boundary line on that far wing side. We've gone nowhere before the ball trickles back out of play right in front of the tennis club, and an opportunity, Simon Petch, to go around the grounds for Aitken Partners. It's the Blues by 16 points over Old Haileybury at Melbourne Uni Oval. University Blacks by 38 points at Camberwell Sports Ground over Old Scotch. St Bernard's by 23 points over De La Salle, and Old Brighton by 9 points over the Old Zavarians.
So ball back into play. His pinch back. He went to kick, then he lost it. Then he was upended there by St Kevin's. Ball through the middle along the ground. Now Bilby bends down, picks it up, put it onto his boot. Goes towards centre wing with a kick. Now if this goes out.
Oh, they can't. They can't.
No, they can't, can they? No. Because I was going to throw these off and leave and never come back. That's how ridiculous this can be. Anyway, the ball's gone over the line out of play, and the umpire said we'll ball this one back in because that was going to another player, just that skidded away. Here's Reimers, palms it down to himself virtually, then overran it. Ball still in possession of Bazzani. Jock goes in, head over the football. Now Duke lost it to Jock, who gets the ball onto his boot towards centre wing. Well played there. St Kevin's Barnett got it back and close to the boundary line. That was only a throw by Josh Walker. Cam Walker's in trouble. Winter's got it. Smothered off his boot by Bilby. Head over the football. Hodges tried to pick it up. He couldn't do so. Going towards the boundary line. There's Duke, and he's going to say a free kick going for his way.
So Bazzani, centre wing, right beneath us. Here in the Holdsworth Pavilion wing. You can hear the feedback from the faithful. Here's Bazzani. Kicks it beyond halfway. Lukic got a big leap on it. 55 metres out. Couldn't bring it down. Sam Tucker kicks it almost blindly into the corridor. That's a bit dangerous. Barnett went for it at ground level. Couldn't pick it up. Now Campbell Walker. He's unloaded. Picked up by Corey Cassidy. He got it away. Josh Walker tumbles it inside 50. Right to the top of the goal square. Boucher nearly held on to a beauty. And now he'll be tackled by 3 St Kevin's defenders. He almost fell into his lap, Hugo.
It did. It was a good effort there.
Boucher back with the flight. Big V representative last year. 17 games, 8 goals in top flight footy. In game number 45 for senior VAFA football. Reimers wins it down. Snap by Mayhood towards goal. It's across the face and through for a behind to the right-hand side. An opportunistic opportunity for Big Bear Mayhood. Try and say that 5 times fast. Collegians move to 5-4-34. St Kevin's 4-5-29. And that clock is still off, but I assume Simon Petch, it's about 26 minutes gone in this second term.
Around 26. I don't know why it stopped at 20. The scores are still working, but I don't know why that clock has stopped. Anyway, there's another one for Ripley's, isn't it? Kick back in towards centre wing, and Barnett fists it towards centre wing. Pfeiffer onto it, overran it. Ball on the deck, and it will have Stacks on the mill develop and a ball up on centre wing outer side of the ground.
That was a real let-off. Oh, sorry, Petchy. That was a real let-off for Collegians there before Mayhood missing that one. That was a dangerous spot. They really need to make the most of that. They want to get another goal here, I think.
Van Twest limps away from that contest. Reema's out the back. Bazzani there. Well, Van Twest wants it, but he's injured. He can hardly walk, and the ball is held up, and we'll have another ball up. So metres towards the St Kevin's goal, attacking to the Canterbury Road end in this second term, just outside the centre square. Kick away Campbell Walker, high up and under, being held on to Lukic. Yep. Umpire didn't see that, but getting a clip over the ears here was Andriski, and he takes the free kick. Here for St Kevin's, heard the call from Richards. Away he goes through the middle. A wobbly kick towards centre half forward, over everybody's head. Bilby came out, applied a great tackle, hit Kerr, but then a kick into goal there by Duffy was awful. And it's gone over the line, out of play. We'll have the free kick going Collegians' way down at St Kevin's end.
I reckon Tom Jock and Jonty McGuinness have featured in just about every single scrap that's happened today, Hugo Higginbotham. They seem really keen to take this up a notch, but it's been a tight, contested, physical game of footy, and at a pretty high quality of standard, as you mentioned earlier, Simon.
Absolutely. Conditions-wise, it is. It's terrific.
So from the right back pocket, the lines down this broadcast wing, Lukic and Tucker and McGuinness are all there. Gunson has it at ground level. McGuinness, he loves this side of the game. Gets involved with Liam Gunson, brings him to ground heavily. And will create another stoppage, and then pops back up, puts his hand up, and will compete with Cal Jones in the ruck. Fists it clear. It bounced off the arm of Mayhood on its way to Bazzani, who was bumped off the footy by Cameron. Jones went to soccer it, went straight to McGuinness, who slipped over as he kicked, got it down the wing, passed halfway towards the Collegians bench and over and out in front of Dill Thomas, and he's a bit sore in back play now, Jonty McGuinness, but back to his feet and rumbling on to the next contest.
You want to make sure that you're bracing yourself when you've got your head over the ball today, because there are some big bodies coming in there, coming in hard. Very hard to pick it up in this wet conditions.
Clock's still off, one of them. But still, we reckon 28 minutes gone in the second term, thanks to Community Bank Malvern East. Jones wins it down. McGuinness reached over the top. Mayhood by hand to Pinchbeck, who dropped it at the critical moment and is forced to take it out of play under Andriski pressure. So it'll be thrown in 55 metres out from Collegians' goal. They lead it by 5 points. Simon Petch and Hugo Higginbotham this game. The margin hasn't gone over 7 points all day. It's been tight since we blew the opening buzzer.
And 18 shots apiece in the game together. So 9 apiece, 18 shots towards goal. Hasn't been a bad return for this half of football that was played in fairly heavy, rainy conditions early in that second term. But we've had plenty of this. Umpire just blowing the whistle and balling the ball up, throwing it in the air, players wrestling each other, ball coming out, diving on top of it. It's just one of those days. Thrown in the air, McGuinness did the right thing. He fisted it clear, jocked it onto his boot. Now
someone's picked something out here.
A free kick coming back St Collegians' way, is it? Both McGuinness has got a hand in the air, and so has Josh Walker, but Mayhood's got it for something. One of the umpires saw something. Mayhood's got the free kick heading to the Albert Park Lake end of the ground.
It was the umpire who was tucked in the pocket who had a view of the front-on side of the contest who found something. It might have been a little hold or maybe even a verbal, because this game has had an edge to it.
Well, so he was the only one out there who knew what it was for.
Yeah.
And that still baffled the players. But anyway, Mayhood's been big this quarter, hasn't he? He's really injected himself into the game. This is an important kick for them. Two goals today, that's a lot.
Scoreboard's down again as well. Here's Mayhood, Albert Park Lake end of the ground, and he's gone to the right of the post on the minor score, taking Collegians on to 5-5-35, leading St Kevin's on 5-4-34, and for Community Bank Malvern East, we've gone about 28 minutes in this second term.
So a goal in it. Scoreboard off, as we mentioned, at the Harry Trott, but we are deep into red time, about 30 minutes elapsed in the second term. The first one went 29 and 30, so not too far away from a siren. A kick towards us, broadcast side. Kerr went with a fist, fell the way of Josh Walker. Handball inside of Mayhood, who gets some space, eyes the big sticks and kicks it well wide. Thomas furious he didn't pick him out in the pocket.
He was, wasn't he?
And they go to 5-6 now, 36 Collegians. St Kevin's 4-5-29, out to 7 points, which is the highest lead of the game, and they're wasting no time. St Kevin's a kick back towards us, broadcast side. It's a rinse-repeat though. Walker to Mayhood, to Pinchbeck to the top of the square. St Kevin's with numbers back. It'll be tipped through McCleary. Through a boot on the goal line. The umpires will confer. Luke McCleary thinks it's a goal.
I think it was too.
There'll be a conference between two field umpires, the goal umpire and the boundaries. They're conversing. at the Albert Park Lake end of the ground, and they signal all clear. It's a goal to McCleary. So Luke with the flying boot. And it's a late goal for Collegians in red time. It takes them to 6-6-42 by my count. 4-5-29 St Kevin's largest lead of the day, gentlemen. 13 points to the Lions. We're well into red time in the second term, all thanks to Community Bank Malvern East.
Well, we talk about adjusting to the conditions and settling. It appears to me that Collegians have done that a little bit better. They're not trying to play flashy football. They're just guts and determination there. But Mayhood's been involved in everything in the forward half. He's had a massive quarter.
Yeah, not a day for flashy football. It's a day for players like Pinchbeck who just want to get in and under and tackle and get the football out. He's having a good game himself. Ball back into the middle. Campbell Walker held up and will have another ball up. So nearing the end of this second term, but a good one for Collegians. Thrown back in the air again. McGuinness got it here to Mayhood. Jock got in the way. Mayhood holds him up. And once again, just outside the centre circles, we'll have a ball in the air.
4-2 this quarter for Collegians, Simon Petch.
So good quarter by them. McGuinness fists it clear. Andriski did same. Got it back. Cameron head over the football. Tried to win it out. He can't. He brought it back in underneath him. He then looks at the umpire. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
We're deep into red time here too. It's very important that Collegians either surge this forward or Scott really want to defend this hard.
Thrown in the air again. Jones got it down. Cameron has smothered kick off the boot. Stobie brought to ground in a great tackle by Richards. Another ball up inside the centre square.
You can see Hugo Higginbotham that Nathan Boucher is the spare just off the back of this contest for Collegians. Just drifting defensive side. McGuinness spikes it down. It'll be wrapped up again. Anderson this time with the footy. Duke had him. So we've moved 20 metres sideways from the centre throw-up. The neutral territory, edge of the centre square, broadcast side. McGuinness with another well-aimed tap. Pinchbeck with another tackle. That's been the story of the first half, and it's another stoppage, Hugo.
It's a hot pill out there.
That it is, McGuinness and Jones.
Again,
so it's a Sale boy who is really believing in himself at this stage of the game. Jock was brought down illegally, so he'll get a free kick for holding the man. And he's eyeing the corridor, Tommy Jock. He's 15 metres behind centre wing, just gets around Mayhood with ease, runs his full measure, kicks it inside 50. It's a floating kick that fell short. Barnett couldn't hold on to it. It's socket out of defensive 50, through almost the legs of Jock. Mayhood sockers it forward. Chasing it back will be Hart of St Kevin's. Wants the boundary with Seaton and Thomas. Seaton bumped Thomas out of the way, got the footy, got clear. His handball was interrupted on its way through to Duke, who tackles Putris. Anderson also laying a tackle. Campbell Walker is there for the Lions. He's over the top of Sam Cameron. This all happening 70 metres out from the Collegians goal. In front of Geordie McKenzie and the Lions bench. It'll be thrown up again.
Yeah, Barnett was very unlucky not to get a free kick there. Now, he went the mark. He was absolutely collected in the back of the head, but the umpire said play on. And he's still feeling the effects of that. Barnett is Richards. Centre wing goes towards half forward, back towards Barnett. Fist over the line out of play by Warren, and we'll have a ball in as the rain starts to fall again.
There was a bit of that flashy stuff we were talking about, Petchy. No need for that. Kick that one 50 metres into the forward line, let it skid on, and get another opportunistic goal. That could have been the play there.
Yes, and it wasn't. It was very close to the boundary line. They just wanted to hug it, really. That's all they want to do here is hug these lines. Thrown back in. Both sides I'm talking about. Reamers, Cameron front of the pack, sees it over, and we'll have a ball in.
Very close on the full there, Petchy.
Yeah, just about. Nearly off the boot, wasn't it? He was running that fast, Cameron, that he virtually nearly overran the ball. So about 70 out from St Kevin's goal. About to be thrown back in, dying stages of this second term, both over Reamers and McGuinness's head. Back to Cameron, now picked up by Gill. That ball to a standing still Jock, who certainly hasn't got a left boot. He goes towards half forward, no mark taken. Fell to ground, Rovers wanted, Hanrahan got it to Winter, then virtually got it back again. Put his head over the football, body on the line, couldn't win it. But Collegians do. That ball ends up in the hands there of Putris. Picked it up in his bootlaces, got it back towards Seaton and Thomas. Thomas wins the battle, does he? Bent down, picked it up, Seaton brought him to ground in the end, and the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
Won the battle but didn't win the war, Petchy.
Seaton was very good there. He went back with the flight. He knew there was oncoming traffic, but he couldn't take the mark, and that is half-time. Scoreboard down, and that is half-time here at the Harry Trott.
So 6-6-42 Collegians, 4-5-29 St Kevin's. Again, the clock is off, the scoreboard is off, so apologies if that score is wrong in fact, but it is the Lions with a 13-point advantage at half-time. They kicked 4 goals to 2 in that quarter. And that 13-point advantage, Hugo Higginbotham, is the largest of the day so far.
Yes, could be a telling one. It's going to get harder to kick goals out there, but as I said before, Collegians really adjusted to the conditions and settled well there. Whereas St Kevin's, I think, still playing a little element of dry weather footy, which, causes a turnover here, turnover. Today's a day of distance, just bulk distance, get it forward. You can even see Mayhood kicking off the ground before. It's just things like that looking dangerous. You're not going to take many marks today. You are not. You've got to be front and centre with the smalls. And let's just see what happens.
The voice of the back-to-back premiership coach of Elstonwick, Hugo Higginbotham. It's Collegians by 13 points at half-time at a wet and soggy Harry Trott Oval.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
The Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Star Award recognises the competition's most talented young players. Each week, the VAFA Rising Star Committee receives nominations for 1 male and 1 female player, aged 20 years or under, who played no more than 7 senior games before this season. Our overall season winners will be declared the Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Stars for 2025. So, if your club has a young gun making their mark, nominate them now at media@vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
Is your club celebrating a player milestone? Let us know at VAFA Media and we'll feature it in the Amateur Footballer. We're always on the lookout for stories that acknowledge outstanding achievements and the clubs behind them. Email us at media@vafa.com.au.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Half-time at the Harry Trott. It's Collegians 6-6-42, leading St Kevin's 4-5-29. The Lions kicking 4 of the last 5 goals of the game to take a game-high 13-point advantage at the long break. We haven't got a multiple goal kicker yet, Hugo Higginbotham. They're all singles. We'll start with the Lions. Mayhood, George, Thomas, Lukic, Pinchbeck and McCleary. Phillips, Barnett, Fian and Ollie Gill, the single goal scorers for St Kevin's. We'll go around the grounds just briefly, all thanks to Aitken Partners. The other games going on in top flight football. The University Blues 7-4-46, leading Old Haileybury 4-6-30 at the Melbourne University Oval. That game's at half-time. James Stewart with 3 goals to the long break. That's the early story. Townsend also with 2 for the Blues. Vaughan, Stephanakis, Kirkwood, Scott and Gunnar Warden are the goal scorers for Old Haileybury. Over at Camberwell Sports Ground, this is a very interesting half-time score. The Cardinals 1-4-10. The University Blacks 8-5-53. So the Blacks with 2 goals apiece from Grocott and Max Gray are well clear in this contest. Fraser Morrisby with the only goal of the game for the reigning premiers, who have not had the start to 2025 that they would have wanted in the slightest. Let's head over next to Waverley Oval in East Malvern, where St Bernard's lead De La Salle 6-8-44 to 2-4-16. The Snowdogs with singles through Matt Watson, Holland, Delizio, Ollie Liberatore, Matt Soro and Lockie Papley doing it nicely. They lead by 28 points away from home. Finally at Toorak Park, the 2:30 start here, so it's the 7.5-minute mark of the second quarter, and we find Old Brighton 4-6-30, 5 points clear of Old Zaverians 4-1-25. The goal scorers in that contest, Max Benier has a pair for the Tunners, singles for Hill and Pryor. for Old Zaverians, it's Lane, Westcott, Holmes and Tubman all with singles. So that's all that's happening across top flight footy here at the Harry Trott. It's Collegians 6-6-42 leading St Kevin's 4-5-29, a 13-point lead that Hugo Higginbotham probably portrays the contested and tight and aggressive and at times physical and a bit edgy contest that we've seen play out in front of us over the last hour or so.
Yes, no, it's a great contest out there considering conditions, and we knew this was coming, didn't we? We knew that rain was coming, so it's always going to be a physical game. I thought that Collegians really settled well that quarter. Scott probably didn't handle the conditions quite as well, but Collegians were really, really dangerous when they went forward. And it's, it's not going to be a day of big scores, so every goal really, really counts. Almost double today, Paddy, they're worth.
Our halftime show is thanks to Bastion Collective, an integrated full-service marketing and communications agency with a team of over 350 across Australia, New Zealand and the USA. And we have two guests in the commentary box here in the Holdsworth Pavilion. It's Collegians President Andrew Keneally and St Kevin's President Paddy Mount. Andrew, welcome to the commentary box. How have you seen the game so far?
Wet, blustery day.
Yes.
Yeah, as expected, both teams have always been competitive. We've always had good battles over the years, so it's panning out the way we expected.
We always tend to get these magnificent lunches when we call the SEN match of the day. Today has been no exception. The festivities have been going pretty much from go, and they're still going pretty hard. What's the occasion? What's happening behind us?
Inducted a life member today, so the club's 133 years old. Put a 48th life member into the club, William Rice. He was coach and captain during the 70s. Done a lot for the club, been on the committee and a lot of things. So, well deserved, probably a little bit overdue, to be honest. But no, there was a lot of his family and friends were here, so there was 60 in the room.
Paddy Mount, you've joined us for about the fourth or fifth time this season.
Yeah,
we spoke to you pretty much every half-time game. Wet day for footy.
Yes.
Pretty tough and contested. I heard from Anthony Plugger Lynch on Friday with Hugo that you'd actually war-gamed the wet conditions that you're expecting to get. How do you do that at training? Do you just turn the sprinklers on and away you go?
No, I don't think we're allowed to do that with the water conservation policies these days, Paddy. But through whether it was intended or due to injury, we have gone a little bit shorter today. So Sam Critchley, you would notice, is not playing today.
Yep.
And we brought in young Tom Feehan, who's a good small from the Rezzies, and so you're a little bit shorter height profile. But yeah, look, it's an absolute scrap. It's very much been played between the two half back lines, and I think Collegians certainly in that last sort of 15 minutes of that quarter really defended well and then spread back the other way and found some space that we struggled to contain.
Now, for those new to the ammo, such as myself, been 2 years in a relationship with this great association, these two teams have been the story of the last dozen years, 15 years or so. You've got 6 of the last 12 premiership pennants in top flight between you. You played in 3 grand finals. I'll start with you, Andrew. What's the relationship with St Kevin's been over the last 12, 15 years?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, a lot of respect between the two clubs, on the field and off the field. So I think if you hang around after the game, you'll see all the St Kevin's people will come upstairs and support us as we do at their grounds. And that's what amateur footy's about. You battle hard on the ground, but good friends off the ground.
Yep.
Yeah, quite a unique competition that all the presidents of Premier catch up for a lunch once a year, and there's no animosity between us. And there's often things that happen on the field, but often a phone call between us. Paddy and I speak a few times and sort it out.
100%. So. Yeah, no, it's a great rapport, and it's a great rivalry. You look back to some of those grand finals, 2017 and 2018 were just epic games of football that could really have genuinely gone either way. 2023, not quite the same case. I was saying before to Rodney and Caro, looking at the stubby holders at the bar, I said thank you for not printing the score on those ones. But yeah, that aside, it's a great rapport and bond that we do have, and two great footy clubs.
In saying that, with the great relationship, we've got two presidents. They're at the opposite end of the box. They're not looking at each other. They've both got their game faces on, like the players have out there too. So, but you see the respect there.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your year so far, Andrew. It's our first game of having you guys on the radio game. What I've noticed over the last couple of years with Geordie McKenzie's tenure is that there's been a lot of turnover. You've gotten younger quite quickly. there seems to be a really cohesive young group of players, and now you're adding some recruits, the likes of Henry Anderson and Jonty McGuinness, who we love, to that mix, and it seems to be working out for you.
It does, yeah. It's been a slow build over probably 4 or 5 years for us through the under-19s. We were lucky to get a really good school group through 2 years ago. So last year in the under-19 rep side, we had 7 kids playing in that rep side, on that double under-19 rep teams, and 7 of them were playing in the seniors. So we are young. Against St Bernard's, our oldest player was 26 that day. A lot of it's been forced on us, unfortunately. So Kenny Ong's out. Sam Hibbins, obviously, he's done his elbow, did his shoulder last year. So not by choice, to be honest. A lot of it's been forced upon us, and kids have had to step up earlier than probably they normally would. But that's been a good thing. Tested our depth, obviously, in the reserves, who got belted again today. But so
one guy that's been missing over the last couple of weeks is Will Mayhood, and the circumstances really interest me because an infected spider bite you don't usually see on the outs list, but that's what he's been suffering for the last couple of weeks. His leg is still strapped up. What's happened there? Do we know what spider it is? Has he gained any powers?
I actually joked to him whether he's going to be able to spin his web like Spider-Man. But no, his first injury for the year was he just set up his own business. He's an electrician, just gone out on his own. First one was a cut hand from an accident on a building site. So, as he said, I can't get work cover with this one. And then 2 weeks later, he gets a spider bite. So he played the first week with it, and then it got really infected. It ended up in hospital and had to miss last week with it. So, a unique injury.
I'm very glad to see him still out there as we see the St Kevin's players jogging back up with Tom Jock running through and offering high fives. Paddy Mount, I wanted to ask you about Tom Jock because it seems that every waking opportunity that he has to get in a scrap with Will Putris, both of which having a smile on their face while they wrestle with each other, he has done. His leadership is so obvious to me, off the ground and on the ground. He must be. What's his impact been over the last few months?
Look, I think he's really revelled in being the standalone captain this year, and I only hark back to round 2 against Old Zabs, where this isn't just my opinion. This is the opinion of a lot of people. He turned on arguably the best quarter of football that anyone at our club's seen. And it was, as a proud Carlton supporter, it genuinely reminded me of Anthony Koutafidis in that 99 prelim. He just single-handedly carried us over the line. And, that's what you do when you're the skipper. You take the responsibility and lead the boys home. And I think as well today, Tom always likes playing Collegians, given his partner Lana is a old Wesley girl, and I think she's even done a bit of work here at Collegians and at the VAFA in the past. And there's a distinct correlation between when Lana worked in the VAFA media team and Tom appearing in every article on the VAFA website. So
every pull-up banner.
Yeah. So and the pull-up banners exactly. So
we'll dig deep into that one. On that game, 5 intercept marks for Tommy Jock, and I reckon all of them were in that last quarter, and some of them just real screamers. You are right. So if anyone hasn't seen that last quarter, it is on VAFA TV somewhere. You can find it or watch it at your leisure.
Yeah, so Paddy, really young side in today too. And what's Tom Jock's role with that? Is he mentoring into the young guys as well?
Absolutely. He's fantastic with the younger guys and sort of just teaching them the standards that you need to succeed at this level. And obviously Tom brings great pedigree, having played significant VFL and even AFL football. So, that's great. And to see just a slight rejuvenation with kids straight out of the school in young Flopper Phillips, and Dexter Prime to come in, and even Duffy he was under 19s last year, so he's a younger guy too. Xavier Duke was under 19 vice captain last year, so it's nice to see this new wave coming through and get that experience. That may not necessarily be there every single game from here on in, but getting these games into these boys is really crucial.
Paddy, Andrew, we'll let you get back to the function. Enjoy the second half. It's been a great game of footy so far. Let's hope it continues.
Yeah, terrific.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Andrew Keneally and Paddy Mount, the presidents of the respective clubs, Collegians and St Kevin's. We'll take a break and we'll resume on the other side of this with the third quarter at halftime. It's Collegians 6-6-42, St Kevin's 4-5-29.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
We're back and live at the Harry Trott Oval. It's 13 points Collegians advantage. They lead 6-6-42. St Kevin's 4-5-29. Here's Simon Petch.
So third term underway and the ball went outside the centre square. It's got to the 45-metre arc and we'll have a ball in the air. Commentary side. 42 playing 29. Collegians have the lead. And Reema's over the back towards the boundary line. In fact, kicked over the line out of play. We'll have a ball in or a free kick.
Interesting play there. This is a really important 5 minutes here. First goal of this third quarter is crucial, especially in a day like today. I'll go as far as saying first goal will win this game. That's it. I've gone early on this one.
Big call from Hugo Higginbotham.
Yeah, that's
wow, it was a bit of
well, it can happen.
Of course it can.
It can happen in this competition. You can say anything and it could actually happen.
We might have a bit of audio for that from a few years ago, Simon Petch, to play out at full time.
Yes. Here's Kurt. Kick along the ground towards full forward for St Kevin's. Picked up here and running into goal and missing there was Cameron and a minor score. So first score is a minor one there to St Kevin's. 4-6-30. Collegians 6-6-42. For the Jefferson Automotive Group, we've gone just on 2 minutes in this second term.
Yeah, that ball's gone in the construction zone out there.
Oh, okay. Well, we might have trouble getting that one back, eh?
Oh, no, just under the fence.
Lucky it was. So Jefferson Automotive Group, from Toyota to Subaru or Ford or Hyundai, they've got your car needs covered. You can contact Brett Jefferson to get the best deal. They are 30-year sponsors of Collegians. And they lead this game by 2 straight kicks, 6-6-42, playing 4-6-30. Minute and a half gone in this third term. Here goes Smith. It's a long kick to the outer side wing. Big fly in the pack, taken away by St Kevin's and Gunson, who kicks it back inside 50. Big pack forms. Fist came over the top from Perry. Tackle was laid by Canny. It came the way, it looked like Jones, who kicked it straight up the chimney. That won't have travelled the required. Jonty McGuinness clears 50 with a big fist. And now they can get their handball game going, Collegians. It's Campbell Walker who goes sideways. And that's a nice kick towards Putris. In fact, it was a touch wide. And it dribbles out of play. Centre wing, far side of the grounds. The tennis court or hockey club wing. The big sporting precinct that is the whole lakeside area here in Albert Park. We'll get down to Harrison McIlwaine with another conditions report in just a few moments' time.
He looks frozen too.
Yeah, well, I hope he is actually still functioning down there, our man Harrow. He's giving me the big thumbs up from the boundary side. So from the throw, it went out the back of the rucks. It came all the way back to Jasper Davey of Collegians, who got it away to Campbell Walker. Kicked it into Sam Tucker's backside. It went straight back up, and then it was wrapped up by a pack of players. And we'll have another throw up.
Not a day to overuse a handball today. It's got to be one handball, one kick.
So scoreboard down again. There was a flash over there. I really don't know what's going on with it today. And so we're back to a two-goal ball game, and Collegians have the lead. Now here's Hanrahan for St Kevin's. Handball, he heard the call from Duke. Gave it, Duke goes long with a kick towards Kerr. Went over his head, goes towards the boundary line. In fact, he kicked it over the boundary line on the full. Yep. And the resultant free kick to go to Canny here for Collegians. Scoreboard back up, but we've lost the time. So we've gone around 5 minutes in this third term for Jefferson Automotive Group, and Kenny's got the football. He kicks it out of danger momentarily. Up they go from the back. Putris couldn't bring it down. Hodges pushed off the football, came back here to Jock. He got around his opponent, got a kick towards centre half forward to Barnett, and he takes the mark on his chest. Jock saw him there. He gets the high fives from everybody there, Jock. And Barnett, who's a beautiful kick of the football, will go back and have a shot here for St Kevin's. Walks all the way back inside the centre square.
He's a long way from home here. This would be a huge kick.
And he is a beautiful kick. So Barnett's got it. Looking at St Kevin's 5th goal of the afternoon. They trail by 2 to the Albert Park Lake end of the ground. Favoured by a slight breeze. He gave it all he had. Does it come back enough? No, it doesn't. It goes through for a minus score. Scoreboard off again. So 11 points the margin. Collegians have the lead. They've gone just on 6 minutes in this third quarter.
So Collegians will go up through centre half back. Bilby was streaking and he's marked it on his chest, moved it on by hand to Davey, and now they go past halfway in the blink of an eye towards the arc of 50. St Kevin's defence assembles itself. Tucker punched it back to Hart, who's under the pump. Won a jock by hand, who fell over at the first time of asking. It's socked forward by Josh Walker. Kobe George just needed to be clean. He was 8 metres out. It went through his legs. Now he's got it and he's tackled by Tucker. And it will be thrown up. Left forward pocket for Collegians. The intent, Hugo, to go up the guts, clear from the Lions.
Yeah, great intent, but you can just see how slippery that is out there. There was no one was sure footing. That was just something that he'd chew up every day of the week, that possession.
Seaton was dispossessed as play restarts. Josh Walker doing the tackling for Collegians will get a successive throw up. So scoreboard off, as we mentioned. It's 42-30. Collegians leading this one by 2 straight kicks. Tucker's involved. 45 metres out, Bazzani with the footy. Sticks a kick to the top of the square. Jock is there for St Kevin's. It goes all the way back to Hart, who's now under Boucher pressure. His hat kick was fortuitous. It went into the right back pocket, and Sam Tucker takes the relieving grab, and he'll go across his own defensive goal square, not without some risk. And he hits Andriski.
So he goes short to the scoreboard and marked by Gunson. So St Kevin's is holding possession. Goes nearly into the middle of the ground. Hodges takes the mark here for them at centre half back. Now he goes into the middle. Or Winter. He just looked at Pinchbeck, who went for the football. Reema's head over the football. Can't get it out. Winter goes in after it again and will have a ball up. I don't know what Winter was doing there, but Pinchbeck, he looked at him as if to say, you going or me. I didn't think that was the game.
Probably shouldn't have handballed either.
Thrown back, yeah. Thrown back in the air. Reema's got it down. Bazzani held on to by Richards, brought to ground. He virtually just fell over, Bazzani. And we'll have another ball in the air.
Kobe George has just limped off the ground for Autosport Victoria. Harrison McIlwaine on the case.
Thrown in the air again. Reema's palms it out the back here. McCleary bent down, picked it up, got a handball, a loose one. Jock, well, he went without it virtually. Winter, he goes into support. And he's held up and will have another ball up. 42 playing 31. Collegians have the lead here at home. For Jefferson Automotive Group, we've gone about 7 minutes in this third quarter.
So back in the air, Reema's down to Hodges. He was tackled by Pinchbeck. He had a moment to get rid of it. Didn't use that moment, did Hodges, holding the ball. Pinchbeck moves it on quickly to McCleary, who was riding shotgun, picked up the short option, and it was the right one. So he kicked to centre half forward. And it looks like it might be, is it Walker there who's taking the mark? It's Josh Walker. So he's 50 metres out directly in front to extend the Collegians' advantage to 17 points, which would be the largest lead, Hugo Higginbotham, of the day so far.
It would be. It's going to have to be a very, very good kick from here, but I'll be looking for some smalls around the front of the contest here if it drops short.
So the pack of players is assembling on the goal line. Should this kick from Walker fall short? He's directly in front. Man of the mark, 48 metres out. Walker, the right footer, approaches, gets a fair chunk of it. It's drifting right. It's falling short. Big pack of players form. Hanrahan takes the spillage, tumbles it to Gunson at left half back for St Kevin's. He goes down the broadcast wing. It bounced off the foot of Canny. Back into the mixer. Bazzani's over the top of the footy. Was perhaps impeded in reaching for it. Now Hodges lays the tackle, and it'll be thrown up at right half forward for Collegians. Putris, the last man up.
So about 8 minutes into this third term, I presume. And thrown in the air, goes towards the boundary line. Hanrahan sees it over in front of McCleary.
Let's get down to Harrison. Harrison. We'll come back to you in just a few moments' time. Brucey's taken the opportunity to go get himself a coffee. Man, who is busy all day, so we'll return to Harrison in a couple of moments.
42 playing 31. The home side Collegians have the lead. 9 gone third term. McGuinness and Reamers again. They've battled most of the afternoon together. Hanrahan flicks it out. Jock does same. Got it down to Winter. Handball back to Hanrahan. That was clean enough to get it towards centre wing, and it goes over the line out of play before Davey could reel it in, and we'll have a ball in. So centre wing out of side of the ground. Patron just collects the football there, walking his dog. Bet he didn't think he'd be doing that today. He let the lead go, and the dog stayed where it was. Amazing. Didn't run off. Thrown back in out of side of the ground. McGuinness grabbed it out of the ruck, wins ahead over the football, can't clear it. McGuinness like a rover, roved it well, but Jock got in his way, then he threw it out. Kick along the ground here for Collegians. Up towards Lukic, heard the call, gave the handball, didn't work in the end. Tackling a plenty out there, and we'll have a ball up.
Let's get down to Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary.
Yep, Kobe George is just having his left ankle strapped after landing on it awkwardly in a marking contest. He's grimacing a little bit, but he let me know that he thinks he'll be right to go on. In terms of what's happening on the field, both teams really living what the coaches asked of them at half-time, making this a territory game. Plugger Lynch was pretty unhappy with how he perceived his mids were outworked in the midfield, so we're seeing a little bit of an uptick in their output. But yeah, should be a cracking rest of this game.
Comprehensive update. Thank you, Harrison. We're now on the far side wing. Jasper Davey with the big spoil as that kick came in long and high. Davies at ground level now. Bazzani there too. He'll come the way of Josh Walker, who's in the black boots, gets it away. And now Collegians towards centre-half forward. Hart and Lukic. Hart was superb in the air. Held this position nicely, and on the second attempt brings down a contested grab. Wanted the switch with Tucker, thought better of it. Had Barnett leading up to him on the hockey club wing. Neutral territory. So Barnett crosses halfway. That's a really precise kick. And it's Gill, who is tumbling to take the mark. Right out there, goes to Hanrahan by hand. Centre wing now Truly. He's closed down by a couple of Lions. Gill kept on moving for him. They're just playing around by hand. Hanrahan just has to bust it inside 50. Big pack of players. McGuinness with the fist down at his bootlaces. Trying to rage through was Winter. And Pinchbeck wrapped him up. So it'll be thrown up 40 metres out from the St Kevin's goal. It's Collegians 6-6-42. St Kevin's 4-7-31.
Got everyone in one pocket of the ground. There's no one on this side of the ground, no one past halfway.
No, they're just chasing really, don't they, Hugo? They just want it. They just want it, and
still going.
Inside the 45-metre arc here, now it's out. Anderson is onto it for Collegians. Heard the call from Mayhood, shocking handball, right at his bootlaces and put him under enormous pressure. Had to get it back, and Jock ended up with it. Got it Bazzani. He chopped it off, and he's brought to ground, and he gets a free kick because it was over the shoulder. So Jim Bazzani with the free kick for Collegians. They lead 42-31. We've gone just on 12 minutes, I'd say, in this third quarter, as Bazzani's got it out of side of the ground. Between half-back and centre wing goes to Lukic, marks out on his chest. All on his lonesome, took the mark. They all feed back inside the 45-metre arc for him. He goes towards centre-half forward. Josh Walker there, along the ground to himself. Then got it up, then a missed opportunity. Hodges got in the way, so did Pfeiffer. Goes back to Gunson in trouble. They still run at it here. Smith has got it for Collegians. He's still got it in front of him. He goes close to the boundary line. He kept it alive somehow. Collegians back towards full forward. No mark taken. Fell to Mayhood. McCleary, bad handball to Lukic though. Why wouldn't he have had a shot? What good is a handball along the ground to your bootlaces when he could have stood there and had a shot? He's metres out from goal, McCleary. Another missed opportunity. Thrown in the air again. Reamers palms that one down. Getting in the way is Duke for St Kevin's. Clears the football. Out towards centre wing, but Warren stood there, collected. Handball, McCleary will kick this one. He goes in towards the pockets. And Putris has come out and taken the mark on his chest.
Hugo, that's twice in this quarter where Luke McCleary's kicking inside 50 has been superb.
Yeah, hard day to do that as well, but he had great vision. A lot of composure there as well. Would have been easy just throw it on the boot and try and kick it to the square or even have a shot on goal. No, excellent execution there. They defended that really well, Collegians.
So good lead up by Putris allows him to have a shot. He can stretch the margin here. They lead by 11. This out to 17 on a wet day. On a wet ground, and not very windy. He's into a slight breeze. Scoreboard side of the ground. Important kick here. Putris needs to kick this free side. He puts it right across the face, though. That just about has missed everything, has it? And only a minor score to them. Taking Collegians on to 6-7-43. St Kevin's 4-7-31. And we've gone about 13 minutes in this third term for the Jefferson Automotive Group.
Still waiting for our first goal, as you mentioned, Petchy, of this third quarter. That's a nice kick from Jock, though it slipped through the hands. The wet footy, hard to mark for Seb Duffy. Coming back the other way, Collegians to blast kick towards goal. It won't score.
As soon as he knew that, his head rolled back there, Bazzani. He knew another missed opportunity here for them.
So Hart, left back pocket, switches fields. That's a nice kick. He's got some space now for Prime, who looks to the corridor. Asking for it was Pfeiffer. Prime instead goes sideways to Seaton. That kick hangs, though. He held on Anthony Seaton under the pressure of Campbell Walker, who's holding his left shoulder and doesn't look too comfortable. Seaton goes into the corridor. Dangerous kick. Went out the back. Putris on the spillage. Sits it in the direction of Anderson. It'll skip on. Anderson trying to tap it forward. Tucker the other way. Passing ships in the night. Tucker takes the footy. Goes towards left half forward. Barnett is chasing it. Paddles it to his own advantage. Picks it up somewhat awkwardly now. Gives it away to Hanrahan. Kicks towards goal! And loves it! So Gussie Hanrahan from left half forward, the class of the young fella, just drilled it from 35 metres out, and Simon Petch, after so many missed opportunities for St Kevin's, Collegians rather, it's St Kevin's who find the first goal of this third quarter. They're 5-7-37, Collegians 6-7-43. And that's all on the Jefferson Automotive Group scoreboard.
And that's what can kill you, Hugo. You have a look at what Collegians have done in the last 5 or 6 minutes of this quarter. They've gone forward. They haven't been able to do anything, yet Hanrahan gets his hand on it and kicks a goal. So amazing stuff.
Back to a 6-point margin. Yeah. It could have been an 18-point.
Absolutely.
Could have been a 3-goal lead.
Yep. Thrown back in the air in the middle again. Jones in the ruck this time for St Kevin's, and Lukic in there as well for them in ruck, and they'll go at it again as we've done all of the afternoon in the middle of the ground. Thrown back in the air. Lukic won that one down, and once again Campbell Walker held up. We'll have a ball up.
Harrison McIlwaine's on the boundary.
And yeah, as expected, Kobe George has made his way back out to the Collegians forward line, so good to see.
Thrown back in the air. Bazzani wins that one. High up and under kick. Lukic and both Mayhood. Now Pinchbeck slaps it out of danger momentarily. It got to Tucker. Now picked off here by Smith. Kick towards full forward, but coming out to meet it there. Andriski put it onto his boot and got it straight into Winter for St Kevin's, and he takes the mark at centre half back, just inside the centre square. They bomb it on their boot again. St Kevin's, they go forward up towards half forward. Mark dropped there by Pfeiffer. Good attempt by him. Nearly got it back again. Head over the football. Gill got a handle there to Barnett. He can have a shot. He won't. He'll go in short. And the mark has been taken by Fian. And he marched directly in front of goal.
Well, we just see big player Lynch down on the boundary line here. He's screaming at the players. He kick it long, kick it fast, kick it forward. He knows how important it is, this forward half foot side. They've got the momentum at the moment.
Fian to level the scores here after Collegians could have kicked 3 in front. Amazing. So Fian looking at his first goal of the afternoon. Albert Park Lake end of the ground. Slight breeze in his back commentary side. Good view of this as it leaves the boot. He puts it on its way, drop punt, straight as a goal, and scores it back to level. 6-7-43 apiece. For Jefferson Automotive Group, we've gone just on 15 minutes in this third term, and scores are back dead level.
Well, you said it earlier, Petchy, you've got to make the most of your opportunities, and no more important than today with the conditions. So we're back to scores are level, which I'm just going to say, Paddy, I did say something earlier. I did say, very important goal, that first one.
So 2 for Fian for the afternoon. He did kick one earlier. So 2 for Fian. He puts in Kevin's back level, pegging with Collegians at the Harry Trott.
So it took us 15 minutes for a goal in the third term. And then once it started, we got 2 and 2, both going to St Kevin's, who've tied this game up. From the restart, it's Walker who's wrapped up Cameron. We'll do it all again. Let's get down to Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary.
Collegians forwards coach Jack Fitzpatrick just came down from the pavilion to give some very colourful feedback to his troops on the bench. So not very happy with the beginning of this quarter, it doesn't seem.
Thanks for that, Harrison. We'll go with a long kick now towards St Kevin's left half forward flank where it's cut off by Perry.
Can't blame him. I'd be the same, Hugo. It's been fairly disappointing by them, hasn't it?
It has been. Real lack of communication amongst themselves, integrity of effort, all those sort of little things.
So Perry to Boucher, right half back for Collegians, crosses halfway, far side of the ground, kicked it down the wing, and Remus just plucked it out of the sky. He's desperately waving for St Kevin's to get some numbers ahead of the football, and then hands it off to a runner. So it's a kick off the boot of Dexter Prime that goes to a pack, and it's been picked out by the opposing ruckman. Oh, pardon me, that's Perry who's taken the grab, and then that kick is a shocker. He just about stubbed his toe, went to the boundary line. Boucher goes back to Perry, who has a second shot at it. That wasn't that great either. Hodges puts it towards Jock. This one will go out of play as Boucher slipped over. Not one for the name of game. Highlights reel there, Simon Petch. It's out of play. Attacking side of the wing for St Kevin's.
I don't know, Hugo. What's wrong with just a long kick? I really don't understand. The game is about getting that red ball forward, and that was just a comedy of errors. That was awful by Collegians, and it is nearly over the line out of play, and Cameron will see it over. So St Kevin's have really taken the initiative here. They've gone forward twice, and they've kicked 2 goals in this quarter. They've levelled the scores again, where Collegians could have had them at 3 goals behind earlier in this third term, but alas, scores are level. Here's Lukic off the ground. He just picked that one up, kicked it, and a free kick has been awarded here. And it will go Winter's way, or no, Winter has got it. So he's got it here for St Kevin's and drives them forward. Goes inside the 45-metre arc, pack form, fist away. Goes to Barnett, who roved it beautifully. Head over the football there was Cameron, couldn't pick it up. Josh Walker ends up with it for Collegians and goes to Mayhood. That was better out of defence, and he marksman stops and props and looks for his next target. His next target will just be straight towards half forward. He goes in that direction, and Putris took a great mark. Great mark by him at half forward here for Collegians. No one back near the goal square, so he's got to wait for the cavalry to arrive back in that 45-metre arc. Putris out of sight of the ground, goes as long as he possibly can. Andriski held onto it with one hand and fell to Smith. Smith goes in towards goal. It's chopped off though by Hart, and he takes the mark and told to play on. He goes towards commentary side, up towards half back, and the mark has been taken here, and a good one by Duffy. He goes towards centre wing, towards Gunson. He marks and looks inside, then outside. He looks back inside and goes towards centre half forward. For St Kevin's, Hodges back with the flight. Well done, Hanrahan. He fisted it away, then worked it. Ball back towards Hodges, who unfortunately gave it up to Bazzani, who then gave it to Boucher, who got it to Campbell Walker, who got it off towards Stobie. And he's got it out of sight of the ground.
Well, Stobie kicks to a one-on-one. Putris edged Jock under the footy illegally, said the umpire. Far side wing, neutral space. Free kick going the way of the St Kevin's captain. He's been one of their better players today, the number 6. And he's pointing ahead of the ball. So ticked into time on, 21 and a half gone. Scores level at 6-7-43 apiece here at the Harry Trott. Jock's tried the torp, and he's not hit it well at all, it would be fair to say. It sort of fell down, 30-metre kick that went straight up the chimney. Collegians make use of the poor kick and turn it over. McCleary's kick, though, forward was no good. Prime took it at his bootlaces after Mayhood was caught behind the footy. And it'll be hacked forward, though, by Collegians, who's still got numbers sweeping past this footy. Inside defensive 50, Seaton for St Kevin's cleans up. Kicks it to the tennis club wing. Boucher came up, knocked it away in the Bazzani direction. Bazzani by hand, goes to Josh Walker. Turns onto his right, under prime pressure, kicks it, shallow entry inside 50. McCleary went through his hands. Anderson's got it. Tackled by Andriski off the footy. Holding the ball, free kick to Jack Andriski, left half back for St Kevin's.
Collegians just continually have no one in front of the ball. They've got that many around the play and behind that they're just no avenue to goal at the moment.
And that's going to be their downfall. There's no doubt about that. They've had the opportunities. St Kevin's have made most of theirs. Scores are level here, 43 apiece. And we're into the 20-minute mark, I'd say, of this third term. And the ball has gone over the line out of play, centre wing out of sight of the ground. Rain starting to fall, albeit lightly. And we'll have the ball being thrown back in. Here it comes. Remus at the back. He got front berth. McGuinness there. Palmed it down, he did. Towards Cameron, though. He goes forward with a kick for St Kevin's. Gill there. He went, and Duffy ends up with it. A kick along the ground. Will it go through? No. Smith sees it through a rush behind. here for St Kevin's, taking them on to 6-8-44. Collegians 6-7-43. We've gone just on 21 minutes, I'd say, in this third term for Jefferson Automotive Group.
Around the grounds, Aitken Partners, it's the University Blues by 8 points over Old Haileybury. The University Blacks by 38 points over Old Scotch. St Bernard's by 23 points rather over De La Salle. And a 22-point advantage for Brighton over the Old Zaverians. And a good mark was to Jonty McGuinness at left half-back for Collegians. He kicks in the Mayhood direction from 2 deep. Won it down to Anderson. It's too long, he's gone.
Sure, he had it.
It was Duke.
He hardly had the ball, and okay, it was knocked out of his hands, but gee whiz.
Xavier Duke wins himself a free kick for holding the ball. Kicks to the edge of 50, punch clear by McGuinness. Simon Petch not happy with the decision. It's fisted towards Luke Smith, who was maybe taken high by camera. Nothing doing, said the umpire. And it'll be thrown up 50 metres out from the St Kevin's, or Collegians rather, goal.
What I'm saying is you can spin someone
St.
around
Kevin's goal.
three or four times, they handball, that's okay, but that...
McGuinness slaps it clear. Winter on the left, kicked it while he was tackled. It slips through the fingers of Kerr. McGuinness now has it, just has to clear zone, does so. Seaton chops it off in a one-on-one with McCleary. So he's 2 kicks from home. Anthony Seaton was looking for the corridor and Jock. That option is closed down by Anderson, so Seaton sticks it into the mixer. Who's the leaper? It was a fist from Bilby from behind. At ground level it was Gill. Barnett on hands and knees trying to get it clear. Bilby lays a big tackle 30 metres out from his own defensive goal, and we'll get a ball up. So 6-8-44 St Kevin, 6-7-43 Collegians the score. 25 minutes gone, third quarter. No Ruck really had a crack at it. Cameron tried to rage through the contest. A whistle came straight after the ball went in the air, and it's going the way of McGuinness of Collegians. So from full-back, he'll push them forward. And Simon Petch, I think he's going to be kicking this one towards us.
Yes, it'll come commentary side. He'll go as long as he can. Centre wing, Tucker eyes only for the footy grab. Well, he had that from about 5 metres away, Sam. And he marked that beautifully.
Mark of the day contender, thanks to Media Republic.
Well, we've seen not many of them, but that was an absolute beauty. Eyes only for the football. Kicks towards centre half forward. Kick around the body, Hanrahan. And that goes through for a minor score. St Kevin's on to 6-9-45. Collegians 6-7-43. 2 points the margin. About 25 gone in this third quarter for Jefferson Automotive Group. And we'll wait for Pinchbeck to kick the ball back in here for Collegians. He'll come Social Club commentary wing. McGuinness there, Reamer's there as well. Lukic went the fly, couldn't get off the ground. Winter held on to, ball goes over, and we'll have a ball in.
But every player in about 55 metres of the ground here at home.
Yep.
No one at home for Collegians. I understand they're playing that big heavy press, but they do need to work hard both ways.
About to be thrown back in again. Again, McGuinness, Reamer's. Reamer's pushes McGuinness out of the way, and no free. And once again, the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
So well into red time here in the third quarter. It's St Kevin's by 2 points, 6-9-45, playing 6-7-43. It's going to be kicked clear of that contest towards our centre wing. It might go out of play in front of McCleary. It does, so the umpire will play a throw in. He seemed to be delaying his decision, so we could have seen another insufficient intent free kick call, none forthcoming. So the spare's gone behind the footy. Angus Hart is loose in defensive 50 for St Kevin's. He's the only man, defensive 50 for St Kevin's, correct? Yes, he's the only man in that part of the ground from either squad. McGuinness holds front spot, wins it down in the direction of Winter. He lost control of the footy. Reamers goes in there again. Tackle laid by Duke. Umpire will come in to throw it up again. Stobie tossing it to him. Seen a bit of Max Stobie today. 18-year-old out of MAFA and the Gippsland Power in his first year at Collegians. On Williamstown's VFL list as well as young Max. So this is a kick favouring Collegians. It was a one-on-one. Thomas held front spot. Al Richards will be happy to take this ball out of play. He might in fact have authorisation intent, but Al Richards can't believe it. We have seen that paid across the course of today's game, however. So it's going the way of McCleary. He's attacking side of centre wing, broadcast side. 1 goal today for McCleary, who kicks it to the edge of 50. Numbers here for St Kevin's. Good grab. And there's the young fella who's been impressive this quarter. Xavier Duke chops it off at right half back for St Kevin's.
Down on the Canterbury Road end of the ground, we come back commentary side. Gunson sets himself in from the side. There was Smith with the punch. Fell down here to Campbell Walker. Handball hit to Jones, shrugged the tackle, got a handball through to Duffy, who lost it on the way through. Collegians have back again.
Consistency.
It's unbelievable. But anyway, as long as the players can smile about it, that's all that really matters. I'm dumbfounded. Thrown back in. Reamer's got it down. Here's McGuinness going
Pinchbeck just as he tried to reach for the footy.
So he gets it. And I think we got three-quarter time. Thank God. So 45 playing 43. St Kevin's go in at three-quarter time with the lead. 6-9-45 St Kevin, 6-7-43. So what's going on here? What's the umpire saying? Now, Pinchbeck was entitled to have a kick there, wasn't he? Now he's taken it off him. Why? Isn't he entitled to try and have a kick and see if he can score?
The umpire's taking the ball back. Looked like Pinchbeck was appealing to try and have a shot at goal. The ball's been pulled away from him.
The siren hadn't gone. He was awarded a free kick. Why isn't he entitled to have a shot? Anyway, 6-9-45 St Kevin, 6-7-43 Collegians. Three-quarter time.
Hanrahan and Fian, the only goal scorers of that third quarter, all thanks to Jefferson Automotive. It's St Kevin's by 2 points at the final turn at Harry Trott Oval. We'll take a short break.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risks of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
6-7-43 Collegians, 6-9-45 St Kevin's, three-quarter time at the Harry Trott. 2-point leaders St Kevin's, goals through Hanrahan and Fian to take the advantage here. This game has been tight, it's been contested, it's been wet weather footy, and we'll go inside now to the Collegians huddle, and Geordie McKenzie. Harrison McIlwaine has the mic in for us.
Yeah, we're going to fucking wrestle it back. Okay, we're going to wrestle it back by doing the simple thing well. The simple thing well. We can take up our tackling too. Another area of our game, a cornerstone of our game that dropped right off. In these conditions, 25 this quarter. 25, that will allow us to play forward half footy. Before we have a chat about that, let's just have a look up here. So Kobe's down, we're losing the back rotation. If a backman's completely fucked, just still come, we'll sort it out. Okay, doing a good job down there though. Keep fighting. Okay, Smitty, forward rotation there, wing forward. Bones, you go into that one. Yeah, okay, right. Hey, if it wasn't for this fella and this fella here going to work, you know, we might have been in a little bit of strife. But luckily, before we scrapped, our last 5 minutes was good. Okay, now we reset and we go back to our key cornerstone, forward half footy. Forward half footy. So what's it look like? Okay, these boys getting back on top. It's a contest game. Let's get that join into the next level. First, second, third effort. Okay, if we're not winning the ball, we're tackling. Once we get it forward, it doesn't leave the fucking area, does it? Set up behind the ball, lots of voice. Let's get our voice back to the first half.
Fantastic stuff there from Geordie McKenzie, and apologies for some of the language that may have filtered through. We'll hear from the coach of the Lions in just a few moments' time as part of our Jefferson Automotive Group huddle report with Harrison McIlwaine. So the message there, Hugo Higginbotham, is forward half footy, surge it forward, set up defensively. It's a pretty simple equation if you are a Lions person. I'll let you continue on that thread that Geordie McKenzie has just put out for us in just a few moments' time, because we will be catching up with the Collegians coach as he's just holding his group for a few moments longer, a few last-minute conversations, and now Harrison McIlwaine will be joined by Geordie McKenzie, the coach of Collegians.
Hey mate, what was most frustrating about conceding a lead in that third?
Yeah, we just went away from you probably heard it then, we went away from the basics. Even though it's a wet day, we sort of switched off from a transition point of view. St Kevin's a good side, they're going to pick us apart if we do that.
What can you do in the contest to even that back up?
Yeah, I thought they were first in. I thought some of their key movers sort of got on top. I think Jonty's been really good in there, and Pinchy's doing a good job for us too. But look, they're a good side, they won the quarter around the footy. The challenge is now to wrestle it back.
Thanks mate, good luck.
Thanks to Geordie McKenzie and Harrison McIlwaine. Our three-quarter time huddle report thanks to Jefferson Automotive Group, Hugo Higginbotham.
Yes, look, they've missed opportunities there. We spoke about that. They've played some good forward half footy that they want to play, but just some errant little decisions. And then they went away from their structure. They took everyone away from forward of the ball, which gave them no avenue to go.
Around the grounds for Aitken Partners, let's head first to the Melbourne Uni Oval, where it's the Blues 50-41, 9-point leaders over Old Haileybury. The Blacks are 38 points clear of Old Scotch at Camberwell Sports Ground, 56 playing 18. Over at Waverley Oval, D-Lar 43, St Bernard's 54. So that game's back to an 11-point margin. St Bernard's had the whip hand early in the piece over at Toorak Park. It's Brighton 61, leading by 22 points. Old Zaverians 39. That game started at 2:30, so that one's still rolling in its third quarter. We're on to the final term now for Australian Venue Company. You can get a 10% discount at College Lawn and a bunch of other venues, all thanks to the pass. And you can use the code CollegiansFC to get a 10% discount. Here's Simon Petch for the last term.
Thanks, Paddy, and thrown in the air again. Final term underway. McGuinness got a handball hit of Bazzani. Collegians go forward early. Not outside the centre square, though. And Driskin nearly threw it out. Here's Cassidy. Handball here. Goes Anderson with a wobbly kick off the boot and hit Jock. Not a real good kick. He could have gone longer than that, maybe, and just let it skid through the goal area, but Jock ends up with the mark. He'll come commentary side. Davey sets himself, then he has a look. Fist away, McGuinness fell to Cameron. Kick was smothered, fell here towards Josh Walker. Got it back to Davey. Handball a look away one. Gunson has it now here for St Kevin's, and Nilly kicks it out of bounds on the full in towards the pocket they go. Barnett trapped it okay, then is brought to ground, and the umpire says, give it to me, old ball this one up. First 45 seconds of this final term. St Kevin's lead by 2 points, 6-9-45. Collegians 6-7-43. And it's inside the 45-metre arc here for St Kevin's. Kicked off by Cameron, and it will go close to the boundary line and be touched over, and we'll have a ball in inside 45 for St Kevin's.
Hugo Higginbotham, what are you seeing structurally?
Oh, once again, Collegians just crowding the ball, leaving spares out their back in their forward half of the ground. So it's going to be hard to get that avenue to goal.
So Tucker is the spare defender for St Kevin's. Kerr takes it out of the ruck, handballs it forward. Bilby's going to be taken in a tackle, and it will be thrown up. So Fian got to him. The small forward who's come in and kicked 2 goals in just his second senior game, in his first since 2023. Thrown back up, 25 metres out from the St Kevin's goal. It's Bazzani over the footy with Pfeiffer. And we'll do it all again. We've gained 5 metres to the advantage of Collegians there, so now 40 metres out. 6-7-43 Collegians, 6-9-45 St Kevin's. 2-point advantage. The highest it's got to today has been 13 points, so it's been a tight contest. Now it's Boucher's job to do the tackling for the Lions, and once again the umpire crosses himself. So you were right, Hugo. It's going to be contested. It's going to be tight. It's going to be about 4.5 footy in this final term. McGuinness now into the battle with Reimers. It's hacked high towards goal. It fell short. Maybe held on to. Oh, that's a snap from Pfeiffer. It got to the line. It was fisted through for a rush behind. Pfeiffer opportunistic. It would have been a miraculous goal. He was in midair. He had a flying sort of check side. The ball went from hand to foot while he was still in the air. It went across the face and was belted through. So it's St Kevin 6-10-46 leading Collegians 6-7-43. 2.5 minutes gone in the final term thanks to Australian Venue Company.
So kicked right back into the middle of the ground here, Collegians. Mayhood goes up, couldn't mark, fell to pinch back, brought to ground by Hodges, and in the middle of the ground we'll have a ball up. Good kick into the middle of the ground. That one with a heavy ball. Nearly 3 minutes gone in this final term for the Australian Venue Company. Ball thrown in the air, and once again, players hug each other and we'll have another ball up. Just towards the hockey centre side of the ground. Reimers palmed it one down beautifully there. Picked off there by Boucher. Goes in 45 with a kick. Lukic palms it along in front of him. Off the ground he goes and misses. He was looking for a free kick because Hart had him over the shoulder, but the umpire was having none of that. And the Collegians kick a minor one. They go on to 6-8-44. St Kevin 6-10, 46, back to 2 points, and we've gone just on 3.5 in this final term.
So Lukic came into this game averaging 3 goals a match, and he's been kept to 1 by Angus Hart, who's done a really good job after being switched to a key defensive role for the 2025 season. You'd see him usually at centre-half forward in 2024. He's found a new home at fullback. He's another guy who's found a home in the defensive half. It's Tucker who goes into the middle of the ground. Gill went for a fly, didn't get near the footy. Bilby at ground level went past it, and will now tackle whilst being on the ground to start with and
so
lock
we've
it up.
just seen 2 kicks into the middle of the ground from full back here, Hugo. Yep. Is this a ploy from both sides? Let's just get it moving.
Absolutely. Game of meters today, especially this last quarter.
Free kicks from the throw up. It's given away by McGuinness to Reimers. Defensive side of the centre circles for St Kevin's. The number 67, the heavy number. And he's going to go straight towards centre-half forward as well. So it's straight-line footy. It fell short. You mentioned it, Hugo. It was a floater. Cameron read it first and read it best. Takes the mark on his chest. He's at the point of the centre square. He's got Kerr in a paddock. The kick just couldn't quite get to him. Boucher should clean up beneath the scoreboard that has his team down by 2 points. Clears defensive 50. Mayhood takes the mark. Bazani ran past him, receives the handball, pushes it past the tennis club wing. Thomas was spoiled by Seaton. Whistle on the play. Free kick going the way of Dylan Thomas. St Kevin's flooding back though. McCleary might call for this in the middle of the ground. Thomas hasn't seen him and instead wants to go towards left half forward rather. Bad option. Jock cuts it off.
Yeah, they picked him out all day today, Tom. He's taken a lot of marks from errant kicks from the Collegians plays. He's just been in the right spot at the right time, and he comes right across the face. And St Kevin's go to Cameron, who can go to Gunson or Phillips. He's got a raffle here. He goes to Gunson first. So Gunson marks centre wing. Phillips leads up, but he'll ignore that because he's too short. Gunson goes backwards here. And the mark taken by Seaton, who'll go across the face of goal, back to Hart, who'll go to the outer side of the ground, hockey centre side of the ground. That's opened up out there for Hanrahan. He gets away from his man in a Boucher, handball back inside to Tucker. St Kevin's go forward inside 45, bad kick. He's picked out Perry, and he's taken the mark here for Collegians right in front of the scoreboard. 46 playing 44. St Kevin's had the lead, nearly 6 minutes gone in this final term, so still nothing in it. Campbell Walker brought the ground by Jock. Good tackle laid on, and we'll have a ball up out of side of the ground.
Just with a few of those entries, Paddy, the forwards need to realise that when the ball's coming in as hot as it is and it's coming in long, you've got to lead straight up the ground. There's no point leading sideways because it's too hard for them to pick you out today.
So for Australian Venue Company, we've got the close one. It goes inside 50 again for St Kevin's. It's going to be punched out of play. Under no pressure was Warren. He opted the double fister. So 40 metres out. The St Kevin's goal, it'll be thrown in. 6:10:46 to 6:8:44. 6.5 minutes gone, final term, Hugo.
Just saying, with that double fisting punch when he's on his own there, that's no communication. Someone should have said to him, chest mark, easy, easy, easy. Then they've got the ball in hand, rather than now we've got a 50-50 situation in their back defensive half for Collegians.
McGuinness and Reimers stand on the arc of 50. Reimers palms it down, was hoping for Jock or Richards. Neither got hold of the footy. Tucker's around the ball now, and we'll get another restart. 55 metres out from the St Kevin's goal. Around the grounds briefly for Aitken Partners. University Blues lead over Old Haileybury's been cut to 9 points at the Melbourne Uni Oval. That's the other close contest around the competition. Hodges over the top of the footy, and this ball once again is moving nowhere. So the umpire having to get busy and restart play. It's still St Kevin's by 2 points, Simon
So
Petch.
when you say that, Hugo, are they conditioned just to double fist it over the line, even though they can actually mark it? Is it just conditioned in these players to do that when they're close to the boundary line?
Oh, I think it's the pressure in their head as well. Perceived pressure, we call it.
Yeah. Okay, ball back in 45. Yep. for St Kevin's, and the umpire says give it to me again. You just see it often, don't you? Close to the boundary line, they'll just double fist it, even if they are on their own. Thrown back in the air, McGuinness had a fair bit of it, got it to Pinchbeck. He missed with a kick, Barnett missed nearly with a handball. Winter got in his way. Now Davey threw it out. The umpire didn't see that either, and we'll have a ball up in them at the 45-metre arc. Inside the 45-metre arc here for St Kevin's. Scoreboard side of the ground. Remus palms it down. Hanrahan. He got through somehow, then followed up his work. Boucher got in his way. Handball underneath the Pinchbeck and torpedoes it. Back towards Andriski though, and he takes the mark here for St Kevin's. Seaton telling him to go long. He does just that. He goes towards Kerr. Fist away by Warren. Found Cassidy. He's held up. We'll have a ball up in front of the scoreboard.
Just notice again when that ball came in, Petchy, that every Collegians player goes and flies, especially on Kerr. There's always a Kevin's bloke who pulls out the back. That's where they got a couple of those goals from today.
Cameron's going to lay another tackle and we'll get another throw up just for a change. It took us 15 minutes for a goal in the third term. It's taken us nearly 9 for one in the final term. It's still St Kevin's by 2 points. It's been a tight, contested contest. And again, it's Sam Cameron laying the tackle, this time on Van Twest.
Can't see anyone breaking clear now, Hugo. It's just going to be one of these rugby scrum games now, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, numbers packed around this football. Deep inside St Kevin's forward 50. That's 3 now successive stoppages we'll have. It'll be thrown up again, this time 35 metres out, directly in front of St Kevin's goal. McGuinness trying to leap over the top. And yep, once again. So it's Winter wrapped up by Pinchbeck. You could just about write that down for the next 4 or 5 contests. Those two contested beasts just cannot break out of the scrimmage. McGuinness with the right fist wanted Mayhood. Now does get him. Mayhood's pushed off his kick. The umpire called play on. Pfeiffer turns tackler. And another stoppage. 45 metres out, right half forward for St Kevin's. It's the Scobbers 6:10:46 leading Collegians 6:8:44, approaching 10 minutes gone. Final term for Australian Venue Company.
And you can see what McGuinness is doing. He wants to clear the pack, but sometimes he just can't connect. Here's Smith out of that pack for Collegians, goes towards the boundary line, out of sight of the ground, and Risky pushed over by Thomas. And he gets the free kick for St Kevin's, and Hart wants to go on with it. With Thomas as Andriski goes on with the game. He found Richards all on his own inside defensive 45. Brings it out here towards Gunson. He'll come commentary side with a kick. Up here towards Tucker, but it'll go away from him towards the boundary line. And just palmed over to Tucker, who goes back into the middle of the ground over Jones's head, but he goes back in after it again. Couldn't pick that one up. It got back here towards Walker, who got a kick towards half forward Thomas. Oh, he rode a tackle beautifully. He goes with a kick towards Putris, but Hart gets in the way in the last line of defence here for St Kevin's and takes the mark. He goes out wider here. Hockey centre side of the ground and hit Hanrahan on the chest, and St Kevin's have got the football. They lead 46 to Collegians 44, and we've gone nearly 11 minutes for the Australian Venue Company in this final term, and now Barnett's got it. Out of sight of the ground here for St Kevin's, and Hanrahan telling him to go long. And that will be the key. He goes in the middle, though, to find Richards. He marks just on the pointy end of the centre square at half-back. He brings it across the face, up here towards Gunson, who grabs it from his bootlaces. Left foot kick, virtually blind here to Hodges. He went to go the handball to the running Duke, but Hodges holds onto it here for St Kevin's. They lead by 2. He's about 80 out from goal. He goes in short to Gunson, who made good work for him. A good lead by him, and Gunson marks 45 out from home.
Got a handball. He's on. Oh, he's going to be brought back. So Kerr's kicked that out of bounds on the full, but the umpire deems that Gunson wasn't on his line, so he's going to bring it back.
And just as well.
I just noticed Gunson's really been holding this wing, and Collegians are happy to leave him out there on his own. So that's that free player, that's that outlet player, and he's worked really hard to get there into that situation there to take that mark because he's unattended.
I watch Tucker here. He's lurking behind Gunson. He might try and run past for a flying shot. Here he comes.
He knows he's there.
To script, gone to script.
So here's Tucker. From the handball, kicks a wobbly ball, goes inside 45, no one takes the mark, it fell at the back, and a pack may develop. Kick around the body there by Richards, didn't work. Is that Pfeiffer? Yes. Pfeiffer's kicked the goal from basically in mid-air. So it worked for them. St Kevin's kicked their 7th. They go on to 7-10-52. Collegians 6-8-54. Marching out to 8 points for the Australian venue company. 12.5 gone in this final term, and Pfeiffer's kicked his first of the afternoon.
Great surging goal there. Great surging goal. They needed that one just to get that little buffer, because 8 points is a big margin. That's still 2 kicks.
Yes,
that is
correct.
2 kicks.
Yep.
Considering how hard goals are to come by today.
So 8 points the margin. You're right, goals have been hard to come by. That's just the 13th of the game so far.
But that's not bad. 13 goals on a day like today in total is pretty good.
Only 3 of them coming in this second half, though, Petchy, where it's got real tight. Here's Winter. He's been tackled to the deck, had a hand free, holding the ball, free kick to Pinchbeck, centre circles. There's nothing as far as width goes for him, so you can anticipate this ball will go high and long to the hot spot. That's exactly where it goes. It's in the air. Big fist came from Seaton, went straight up and out towards the left forward pocket for Collegians and out in front of Cassidy, who was tracking it out of bounds. So now they get the territory that Geordie McKenzie so desperately wanted at three-quarter time. They'll set up behind the football and they'll try and create a scoring opportunity here, Collegians. They trail it by 8 points, approaching 14 minutes gone, final term for Australian Venue Company. Light fading here at the Harry Trott in Albert Park. Hurled back into play, Reema's front spot, palmed it down to a teammate that was going nowhere. Bazzani lays the tackle. The umpire will throw it back in the air, Simon Petch.
Rightio, inside the 45-metre arc. So an opportunity here for Collegians to score. Thrown in the air. Reema's got a hand onto that one. Pinchbeck, or Thomas it was, went down. Pinchbeck with him. And again, another ball in the air.
Just a quick stat. There hasn't been a Collegians goal since the 31-minute mark of the second term.
Thrown in the air again. Both Mayhood and Reema's got a hand onto that. Bazzani head over the football once again. Stacks on the mill.
They're doing a good job here, Collegians, of keeping the ball in. We're talking about front half footy, so something can crack here, something can go, but they need to keep keeping in there, keep that forward defensive pressure on.
Again, Reema's got a hand onto it. They're fishing for it. Richards was there, Jock was there. Oh, now Mayhood a chance into goal. Oh, he's missed it. So as you said, Hugo, just keep it in there. Something might happen. That could have been a goal, but it wasn't. Collegians going to 6-9-45. St Kevin's 10-52 for the Australian Venue Company. 14 or 15 gone in now in this final quarter. Only 7 points the margin in favour of St Kevin's.
Low scoring contest here at the Harry Trott. Sam Tucker with the kick out duties, kicks it long towards us. Pavilion side wing. Reema's in the one-on-one. Coming through with the flying fist was Fife for the last goal scorer. Came the way of Lukic instead. Stobie got the handball from Campbell Walker. Kicked it into the forward pocket. Cleaned up by Tucker, who's been good today. He just sends a torpedo spiralling out of there. It skips out of play. What's the umpire's decision? Going the way of Bilby in front of his bench. Between wing and half forward, broadcast side. The kick's a bit shallow, just goes inside 45. Tucker went with the fist. It spills out the back in front of Thomas, and now to play right forward pocket. Collegians in attack, trailing it by 7 points. Around the grounds briefly for Aitken Partners. Over at Melbourne University Oval, it's the Blues by 3 points over Old Haileybury. That's the other close one that's going on. Over at Waverley Oval, it's St Bernard's have got a little bit clear of D-Lar. They're up by 25 points, 68 playing 43, Simon Petch.
So thrown back in, still down inside 45 for Collegians. Still an opportunity for them. And Cameron applies a good tackle. And we'll have another ball in the air inside 45. Albert Park, Lake, end of the ground. Up it goes, Mayhood at the back, roving at Winter, well done, got a kick, high kick, down towards Perry, goes over his head, goes towards the boundary line, or he's in trouble. He went back one way, then to the other. Good tackle, Matey Mooney.
Bring him inside scoring range here for Scott Bealby, and it'll be a kick of about 40 metres.
That was silly by Phillips. Okay, it was a high tackle. He didn't have to go on with it though. And it brings Bealby with range. So he is a backman. And
just the 4 goals in senior VAFA footy for Scott Bealby, none this year.
But I'll tell you what, if he does kick this one, this will really ignite them. That is for sure and certain. Slight breeze in his back. Albert Park rail, Lake end of the ground. He's going to have a shot here. Plenty of tall timber back in the goal square, but Bilby after that 50-metre penalty He's very, very confident of the distance anyway. It's just the accuracy for him. So here he comes to pick the margin back to 1 point. Bilby puts it on its way. Drop punt off the boots. Pretty good.
There we go.
That's pretty good, and he's kicked it. So Phillips won't be happy about that, nor will the coaching staff of St Kevin's. They've just given Collegians a goal. And Bilby, who's played all his games down back, 4 goals on him, makes that 5 in his career, and he's kicked them within a point of St Kevin's.
Sorry, Hugo, you go.
I was going to say it's a good goal from the backman there.
My word.
Did not deviate off the line, but that's just where disciplining in is such a tight situation. When you haven't got a big margin, you can't be afforded giving a shot away on goal just through a little bit of what youthful exuberance.
We'll call it exuberance.
I was going to go a little bit harsh with something there, but...
First goal in over 50 minutes for Collegians as the rain starts to just intensify a little bit here at the Harry Trott. Floodlights are on. This ball is on the outer side, edge of the centre square. No one's really got possession of the footy. It's just a rolling maul with Hodges and McGuinness featuring prominently, Anderson as well. And the umpire will surely call a stoppage to this and does so. So 1 point game. Approaching time on. You'd think it'd be a pretty long quarter considering the amount of stoppages that we've had. It'll be thrown in, far side wing, neutral territory. Reimers flicks it over his shoulder. The ball was jarred loose to Davey. He was dragged off his kick. That'll be holding the ball. It will be. That's a nice moment for Phillips, who wins himself a free kick and pushes it nice and wide. So Hanrahan now with it. That rain is a little bit driving. It's going to get even harder to score if that's possible. 1 point leaders St Kevin's. Hanrahan with the footy. This kick inside 50. The Lions have pushed numbers behind the ball. McGuinness is there. Big fist came from Bilby. Down at the face of the contest is Duke. He handballed it backwards. Now the high kick to the hot spot. The Lions should be able to bring this ball down. They do through a big fist. It'll be coming back though. Left half forward St Kevin's. Thomas and Seaton. Seaton gets there at ground level. Loses control of the footy to Lukic, who needs to get it away by hand or foot. Did so by foot. Wasn't a great kick. It'll go. Free kick going the way of St Kevin's.
So Hart's got it. He goes as long as he can into the breeze with a kick down towards half forward. Hodges there. Slippery ball naturally. He couldn't control it. Gill could. He got a kick away. Barnett there. Tackle. Nearly threw it out. Got it to Pfeiffer somehow. It goes towards full back here for Collegians. They drive it back towards centre wing. And McCleary nearly held on to a good mark. Open the door for Thomas. Kick off the side of the boot. Now running races on here. Boucher and Risky. And Risky will get there first. Boucher's nearly caught him and dispossessed him. Great running Boucher.
That'll be on the table.
The ball's over the line now. The player will have a ball in.
Hugo Higginbotham, as a coach yourself, former coach, you'll be putting that item 1 on your rundown on Monday morning, on Monday afternoon.
Exactly. So you've caused a stoppage in the forward half of the round. We had no right to get that. I can't believe how fast he was. That was unbelievable.
Terrific foot race. That one to the football. That's what you want to see. As you said in that first quarter, Hugo, gut running, and that's exactly what that was. And it's the end of the afternoon. Here's Bazzani, but a free kick going Cameron's way. So a point the margin. St Kevin's have the lead. We've gone just on 21 minutes in this final term. And Cameron goes to Andriski as the rain gets heavier. He goes towards the hockey centre side of the ground, and Mark taken out there by Gill. And he's marked it. Gee, it's a good day for him. All this water, for him, he'd be just breathing it out. Ollie, he kicked towards the centre of the ground and...
Off the ball there.
A free kick going Canny's way, is it? No, going back to Bilby.
It's really pelting down.
He'll take the free kick for them. Goes as long as it can. Tucker fists over the line out of play, and we'll have a ball in.
So the issue with all the play being on the far side of the ground for the last few minutes is that no one can make an interchange. So Bear Mayhood and Tom Jock, two inspirational players for their respective squads, can't get on the field. We're into time on now. Approaching 22 minutes gone. St Kevin's by a point. 52 playing 51. In a low-scoring slog. With that rain intensifying here at Albert Park, floodlights are on, skies are overcast as they have been all day. This will be thrown in left forward pocket. There is a stack of numbers waiting to fall upon this footy once it's tossed back into play by the boundary umpire. Remus tried to spike it out, went as far as Campbell Walker, who lost control of the footy under Hodges' pressure. Duke is there of St Kevin's. Walker goes again, loses the footy, hacked clear by the Scobbers. McGuinness with the spoil, centre wing, far side, taken by Hanrahan of St Kevin's. Got around Jasper Davey, spreads it by hand, they'll move it forward through Pfeiffer. Over the top, the handball was searching for Hanrahan. Stobie intercedes and smacks it out of play, attacking side of the wing for St Kevin's.
He's had nothing forward of the ball then because there's so much congestion around where the ball is. That's why they probably look for that extra handball. It's completely not wanted on a day like today.
At the Melbourne University Oval for Aitken Partners, the old Haileybury team have hit the front over the Uni Blues. The Bloods 54, the Blues 51. Similar scoreline here at the Harry Trott. 52 leads 51. St Kevin's in front. 23 minutes gone, final term. Remus didn't quite hit the ball as he desired from the hit out. Cameron is tackled by Campbell Walker. The umpire will cross his arms and throw it up. Simon Petch.
So 23 gone. 17 shots to 16. 1 point the margin. St Kevin's holding on to a 1 point lead, but Collegians have had opportunities. Here's Remus from the ruck contest. Got it down to Cameron. Tackled. Lost the football. And the umpire said, give it to me, old ball. This one up out of side of the ground.
Scotch are within 2 kicks at Camberwell Sports Ground. They've come from just about 8 goals down to be right back in the contest against the University Blacks.
Remus got that down. Hodges head over the football. So was Putris, and once again it's being held up. So this is helping St Kevin's. It's down at their end. There's not an issue here. They can do this for another 5 minutes here. Thrown in the air again. Remus towards his goal. Now Bill beat through it. He can get a kick to that one, and a free kick will go St Kevin's way, and it will be taken by Hodges. Will it? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming back. So good tackle laid by him. Hodges free side, and he's a long way from home. Centre wing out of side of the ground. He'll kick beyond the scoreboard, you would say. In fact, just about right in front of it. Fist away by Kenny towards the boundary line. Richards nearly kept it in, but he couldn't. We'll have a ball in. 52 playing 51. St Kevin's holding on to a 1 point margin. 24 and a half gone in this final term for the Australian Venue Company, and McGuinness to do the ruck contest here with Remus as we await the ball to be thrown back in. Back in it comes. Remus towards the boundary line. Held up. Gill there. Handball along the ground. Kenny held up. And a 5 for tackle on him. Sees the ball going nowhere. We'll have a ball up.
So approaching 25 minutes gone. We said earlier this quarter might go long. Such has been all the stoppages we've seen in this final term for Australian Venue Company. Winter is after it at ground level. He's harassed by Campbell Walker and McCleary as well. Jock's back on the ground. He's tackled to the deck by a pair of Collegians at centre half forward. And we'll have it thrown up. So 1 point game, Hugo. What do you do if you're Geordie McKenzie and you're trying to win the contest?
There's not a lot you can do right now. You just hope that the training kicks in. It's out of your hands. You feel helpless as a coach in this situation.
Winter's got it out wide. Hanrahan running towards the boundary. Kicks it to the line. Has it gone through? It didn't quite make the distance. It looked good. And it's fisted out of play in the left forward pocket. That would have been special from Gussie.
This is actually a win for St Kevin's. If that goes through for a behind, then Collegians have the ball. This is still deep in their pocket there. They just want to run the clock down now. They know there's probably not long to go. They just want to keep that ball locked up in there. 1 point win is a 1 point win.
Thrown in beside the boundary post. It'll be Remus who wins it down. Cameron got a shot at goal. It went straight up and down, tapped around the ground and then through for that rush behind. You were talking about Hugo Higginbotham. So it's now a 2 point advantage to St Kevin's. But as you mentioned, the Lions now have the footy back, Simon Petch, and it's going to be Cassidy with the ball at right half back.
So he's got it. He's looking to give it off with a handball. I'd go with a kick if I was him. Nailed the tackle. Why not go long? This looking for a handball and going short at this stage of the game. You've had all day to do that. Here's Richards, and he marks 60 out from goal.
You can see them, Hugo. They're trying to kill this game.
Yep, absolutely.
Canterbury Road into the ground. He goes towards the pocket. No mark taken. Fist over the line. Will have a ball in.
Also, too, Petch, you're keeping the ball in your defensive half of the ground as well. Turnover there.
Yep.
And it's, it's right where it is now.
For Aitken Partners, just quickly at Camberwell Sports Ground, Old Scotch now within a kick. 56 playing 62. The Blacks holding on to a 1 kick lead.
So 53 playing 51 here. St Kevin's have the lead, and we've gone just on 27 minutes in this final term. Cameron went to go, but then he was tackled over the shoulder. No free kick there. Pinchbeck goes in, applies a tackle, and will have a ball up. Inside 45 here for St Kevin's. All on their terms now because it's down in their forward line. Collegians really have to pray for someone just to clear it here with a fisted punch and get a kick and another kick down into their forward line. But the way that St Kevin's are harassing it's not going to happen. So free kick going Collegians' way. And Pinchbeck will take it.
So Pinchbeck has to go. Kicks it towards us, commentary side wing. Tucker will get there. Slip through his fingers. McCleary is off. Just tumbles it as far as he can. Boucher in a one-on-one. Touch towards the footy. He might get a hand to it first before it gets out of play. It does. And the umpire will call for it to be thrown in. That was Xavier Duke, who just had to halve that contest and did, the young fella. Playing just his third senior game, the 21-year-old out of Camberwell. Made his debut against Old Brighton a few weeks ago, the left footer. So it'll be thrown in. 2 kicks from home for Collegians. 1 straight kick will put them ahead. 51 plays 53, 28 minutes gone. Final term at the Harry Trott. Free kick on the play. Going the way of Reamers of St Kevin's before the ball reached the 2 rucks. Perhaps for a block it looked to be.
It was.
So Reamers will kick it down the broadcast wing. Jasper Davies sets himself of Collegians. The fist came from Jones. Richards at ground level gets away. A kick that carried 10 metres on hands and knees. Gill to Pfeiffer. And now with Richards from Jones. Another late whistle coming from the umpire. A hold. Barnett could take advantage here. He could run into the open goal. He'll choose to share it. They might have just sealed the game through Hanrahan, who flew down off the wing. Barnett unselfishly over the top. And St Kevin's go 8 points clear with, you'd think, just about a minute to go here at the Harry Trott. Hanrahan has a couple. St Kevin's 8-11-59, leading Collegians 7-9-51. 29 minutes gone, final term at the Harry Trott. That's all thanks to the Australian Venue Company.
And Pinchbeck was the player there that held up the St Kevin's player. Advantage was paid, and it ended up in a goal, and that is the winning goal. There's no way known Collegians will kick 2 goals now. Back into the middle, as much as they will try. So St Kevin's, their last 2 journeys down here to the Harry Trott, they've won last year and the year before, I'd say. So their last 2 ventures here have been wins. Looks like they're going for the 3rd time consecutively as Warren holds it up. 15 goals scored for the game in wet conditions has been a good display of football by both sides down here today. Good scoring, and hasn't, although been low scoring, it's been really wet, and all players have just given their all out there today. There's no doubt about that. Head over the football all day, hard tackling, gun running. We've seen it all, and some good goals and some good marks as well. Thrown in the air again inside the centre square. McGuinness, absolute Trojan, isn't he? He's just done it all of the afternoon with Reamers.
Hugo Higginbotham, something to think about before the final siren. Your Skins player of the day. It'll be a tough one.
No, I think he might have sealed it up with that last goal.
So here's Putris. Got it to Campbell Walker. Now Duke head over the football. McCleary went to tackle. Ball still on the deck. Out of sight of the ground. Jock's got it. We'll have a ball up.
So 7-9-51 Collegians, 8-11-59 St Kevin's. Gussie Hanrahan with 2 goals. The last one just a few minutes ago that gives St Kevin's what could be a crucial 2-kick buffer. Time running out for Collegians. You could argue it has already. Gus Hanrahan soccers it along the boundary, far side wing. It's taken out by Cal Jones in true neutral territory. His team 8 points clear. So St Kevin's, this would be a 4-2 start for them. They of course started last year 4-2, went on to 10-2, had a few losses in the back end of the season. Still managed the top 2 finish, but then were out in straight sets. Let's see what they can do in 2025. Meanwhile, for Collegians, it'll be a 2-4 start to the season. They've still perhaps time if they go super quickly. Through centre half forward for Collegians. Bilby tried to flick it behind himself. He's gone forward. Tucker riding shotgun. It's all green, yellow and blue. Cameron tumbles it into the centre of the ground. Underneath it was Gill. It'll be hacked forward again by Pinchbeck. Arc of 50. Andriski is there. Walker, it's Campbell, holds him up. 55 metres out from the Collegians' goal, centre half forward. 32 minutes gone for the Australian venue company around the competition. It's still the Blacks with a slender 6 or now 5-point lead over Old Scotch. That's the other close one. Pinchbeck wraps up Winter from the restart. We'll get another throw up. So, Hugo Higginbotham, I'll pester you now for your player of the day. Who we'll be speaking to?
It's got to be Gussie Hanrahan, I think. He's been a lead out of that wing, plenty of possessions, but 2 goals as well, and they've only kicked, 8 for the day. That's big. So
the wingman in his second senior game, Gussie Hanrahan, who's played some games for Sydney VFL this year, player of the day. All thanks to Skins, the pioneers of compression. He's going to win himself a pair of cutting-edge Skins compression shorts.
Rightio, well done to him, and well done to all players out there today. This has been tough conditions, probably the worst conditions that they've played in this season, and they're both sides have handled it really well. 15 goals for the game is pretty good in these conditions from both of these sides. Here's Davey, kick smothered, went in after it again. You know, and that's been another facet. These players haven't given up. They've gone in twice, 3 times to get that ball out. It's like slippery soap. You just can't do it. And they've just given their all out there. Every player on the ground, even the ones that have come in or come on off the bench, they've just given it their very, very best. It's been, for a wet day, a good quality game of football. McGuinness again got the hand onto that one. Perry, now Boucher. Boucher's a chance on, then he lost it.
Huge.
He lost it because it slipped out of his hands, really, as Jock dives in, and a free kick going St Kevin's way.
Yeah, Jock on the bottom of the pack again, huge effort. And so St Kevin's from centre half back. We've just got word that the University Blacks have won by 5 points. Angus Jones of Scotch Soccer from close in and just hit the post to tie the game, and the Blacks have held on by 5 points. What that is for Dalbauer and his team. Meanwhile, with St Kevin's broadcast wing, Richards tried to tow it forward. Couldn't get it anywhere far, taken by Van Twest, who tumbles it in Collegians' way. Richards centre wing. He's going to be tracked down by Pinchbeck, who's gone all day. They have to take the advantage. McGuinness does. His kick skips towards Boucher. Underneath the hands of Andriski. Kick back towards McGuinness, who'll go again. Hill is there. McGuinness crashes the ball. He's just gone all day. Gus Hanrahan towards Paddy Kerr. Cal Jones laid for Shepherd on Davey. They're spent, these players. Richards along the boundary at half forward. Gunson, there's no one ahead of him, so he's going to have to back. And the siren sounds at the Harry Trott. And St Kevin's, they start 2025 4-2. And they win a tough one, a close one, a wet one at the Harry Trott in enemy territory. 8-11-59 to 7-9-51. 34 minutes that final term for Australian Venue Company ran. And it was Angus Hanrahan with the sealer, his second of the game at the 24-minute mark. To really put a bow on it, he's our Skins player of the day. Harrison McIlwaine will make his way out onto the Harry Trott to speak to him. The number 38 of St Kevin's. It's the Scobbers by 8 points over their old rival. So Hugo Higginbotham and Simon Petch, cracking game of footy. Hugo, where do you want to start?
Very entertaining. It's probably a game of missed opportunities there for Collegians, and they'll rue that. They will absolutely rue that. They had that passage of about 10 minutes with the balls in their front half, those opportunities, probably lack of composure there. And I'll stand by my statement, Paddy. 2 minutes into the third quarter, next goal wins, and it did.
That it did. So if we look at the stats after half-time, just the 1 goal kicked by Collegians, 4 to St Kevin's after the Lions led it by 13 points at the long break. And that wet weather footy practice during the week from Anthony Lynch, Hugo, paid off because they looked a better team once the conditions worsened.
Yeah, definitely. They handled it in stages. Look, they made some mistakes too, let Collegians back in. But just the composure, and even the composure at the end of the game there to realise, have that game sense that they had it on their terms a little bit, had to slow it down, not give Collegians any sort of impetus or momentum to move forward. And there's probably a couple of telling free kicks there as well that went their way. And that happens in footy sometimes.
So Gus Hanrahan is our Skins player of the day. He's won himself a pair of cutting-edge Skins compression tights, thanks to Skins, the pioneers of sports compression. Harrison McIlwaine has him on the boundary here at the Harry Trott.
Gus, driving rain, slippery conditions, comeback victory. Is that why you play footy?
Yeah, came in with a bit of a cold today as well, so it wasn't my ideal conditions, to be honest. But no, I was pretty proud of the boys. I mean, kind of dug deep a bit. Had a good win. Gutsy effort.
2 goals for yourself, including the sealer. How pleasing was that?
Yeah, it was good. Barney gave me one at the end, which was nice. But, it's just a good team effort.
Awesome, mate. Thanks for your time. Up to you guys upstairs. You got anything for
him? Gussie Hanrahan joins us. Mate, you started the year at Sydney VFL. I hear you've moved up to Sydney for work, and now you've come back to St Kevin's. You played your first senior game, I believe, back in 2021, or was it? Or you played a reserves game, rather, back in 2021. You've stuck around at this club. It's been your local for the last few years. What does this footy club mean to you?
Yeah, well, I've been a Skevs boy since prep, so moving into state, I've obviously missed my mates a lot, so it's so nice to be able to come back here on the weekend and play with the boys. I did my first senior game 4 years ago when I was at Port Melbourne. It lasted 30 seconds. I did my shoulder.
Right.
So it's good to be back playing with everyone. I haven't played with a few of these boys since year 12, so I'm absolutely loving it. It's such a great club as well, so I think we'll be pretty strong this year, so pretty happy to be a part of it.
Who are your mates in this team, Gussie?
He's not playing, but Jack Marnie. He's one of my best mates. Who else? Harry Wardlaw, shout out to him, he's injured. Cam Hodges, Cal Jones, Al Richards, played at school with footy. We remember my brother's mates as well, Barney, Kerry. It's like a family to me here, so I absolutely love it.
Hey, Gussie, great goals there today, mate. But you look surprised when Barney handed that one over to you in the last couple of minutes there. The kick was out of shock, I think, mate.
We haven't played much footy together, but Barney doesn't use me too much. He loves a goal. So I was shocked when he gave it to me, but I'll take it.
You better buy him a beer, mate.
I will do.
Gussie, you better get in the sheds before you get fined too much for doing Media Street, mate. Thanks for joining us. You are player of the day, all thanks to Skins. Gussie Hanrahan in his second senior game for St Kevin's. He was magnificent last week against the Blues with 30 touches, 8 marks and 4 inside 50s. 2 goals today, his first as a senior player, and you think he's in for a group drying as he makes his way off the Harry Trott. And they're going to make him go first as well. So apologies to Gussie in advance for the fines he'll rack up, I'm sure, in the club rooms tonight. So the story is St Kevin's 8-11-59 defeating Collegians 7-9-51. Harrison McIlwaine might head into the rooms for the song, which will be sung beneath us here in the pavilion, the Holdsworth Pavilion at the Harry Trott. It's a crucial win for St Kevin's. Hugo, before we get into our analysis of the game a bit further and the results around the competition, we'll go through the goal scorers. So 2 each for Hanrahan and Fian for St Kevin's, and then 4 single goal kickers, Gill, Barnett, Phillips and Pfeiffer. For Collegians, all singles, McCleary, Bealby, Pinchbeck, Lukic, Thomas, George and Mayhood. One of the more rare club songs I think you'll hear. Thanks to St Kevin's for allowing us into the rooms. They're 8-point winners here at the Harry Trott. 8-11-59. Collegians 7-9-51.
What's the origin of that first hymn?
You are barking up the wrong tree, I think, with that one. Sorry, Petch. I've got no idea.
No idea.
There was an interesting mention of a tree in there.
It was.
If there are any audio engineers listening, I'd love to know the time signature because that one seemed all over the shop. Just a quick reminder, if you are tuning in and you've got a laptop free, the Old Brighton Old Zaverians game is still rolling on vafa.com.au. That's a 2:30pm start. At the moment, the Tunners are 6 goals clear. 13-10-88 to the Old Zaverians 8-4-52. So that game is just 6 minutes old in its final term. So you can watch that one finish up while you hear us unpack the review of this one. We'll have Anthony Plugger-Lynch in the commentary box in just a few short moments' time. Hugo Higginbotham, before we go around the grounds, where do you want to start for this game?
Look, obviously, it was a low-scoring affair, and we did say that St Kevin's either kick 50 points or they kick 100. Well, today they kicked 59, I think, just enough. But it just shows, you look at key players out there. Hanrahan was huge for them, but Tom Jock his game, I thought he was very unlucky not to get the award there, and you can just see the leadership out on the ground, just the little things he does as well. It's not all the flashy stuff like that, just that smother before in the last quarter, and the captain of the club, well, he's leading like a real captain too. So interesting couple of weeks for them coming up, but I think it's really, there's some good signs there, and I know they've got a lot of players coming back too, which is only going to get stronger and stronger. And for Collegians, they'll be disappointed with that one, and probably showed just probably the youth in the side a little bit, just that period where even we talk about Lukic, and we spoke that he's going to have a lot more attention while he had probably one of the best defenders of the competition today. So, I mean, they're close, but they're starting to slip away from where they want to be. They want to be within range of Final Four, so that's a bad one for them to go back to. When realistically, and I said if they had kicked the first goal of that third quarter, they would have won the game. And they probably would have had an 18-point lead, and then you get that scoreboard pressure on your head, which turned the other way in the last quarter. There was scoreboard pressure on them, even though it was only 7 points, but that was telling. That was absolutely telling.
This is a problem now for Collegians. They're yet to win a game at home this year. The losses have come by 5 points, 7 points, and then today 8 points. So it's a 20-point difference on their home deck, and it's cost them 3 losses. They're 2-4 to start the year. That's their slowest start to a season since 2021. They eventually went 2-9 in that year, started 1-5. So they really do need to get a wriggle on, and when you look at the teams that they've lost to, the Blues at this ground, St Bernard's at this ground, it's really, really cost them. And now to not get this win against St Kevin's, they look ahead in their next 2 weeks, Hugo, really important for Geordie McKenzie and his group. Massively,
massively important. Old Brighton next week.
Yep.
We've got the benchmark. You've played well, St Kevin's today. They were excellent. They've been a good side for a long time, experience. But Old Brighton here next week, and then Zabs after that.
Yeah, and Zabs away.
And Zabs away too.
Yeah.
I mean, well, they play better away. They win better away. They win at home.
Both their games away,
Yeah. So what's happening now, especially with the young guys, is, and even people around the club too, pressure's building. Pressure is absolutely building because it's a ruthless business we're in. It's a win-loss. When you cut and dry, if you're not at the game here today, you look at that, it's, there's another loss, not knowing the facts. And when you're not inside the 4 walls of the club rooms, there could be no pressure on them inside. They're working on things that are getting better, but from the outside, there'll be a lot of pressure. I know you guys in the media, there'll be talk, and I'm not a media person.
You're part of us now, Hugo. Don't you absolve yourself.
Well, I'm stepping away from that one. But realistically, there's going to be talking points this week as well. The next couple of weeks, that puts us, what are we? We're a third of the way through the season now. There's only 2/3 to go. Obviously, maths dictates that. But what are they? They'll probably, if we get the ladder later, they might have slipped down to 7th, 8th or something like that.
It'll be finalised in probably 10 minutes' time or so, with some live scores still to come in. Hugo, that's probably a good time to go around the grounds. Of course, this is our post-match show thanks to Total Facility Maintenance, providing building maintenance services to all commercial sectors throughout Victoria. Let's start at the Melbourne University Oval. So the University Blues, they were in pretty good shape throughout this game. They led it by 16 points at half-time. The Blues kicked 0 goals in the second half. Old Haileybury kicked 6, and the Bloods win it by 20 points, 10-12-72 to 7-10-52. So Daniel Ward's men, Andreas Stefanakis, again the difference. 4 goals for him. Harrison Jones with 2, James Stewart with 3, all in the first half, of course, for the Blues. 2 goals apiece to Stefanakis and Harry Jones in that final term. The Bloods started that final quarter 9 points down. They kicked 5 goals to zip in the final quarter to win that game of footy. So a huge result on the road for Daniel Ward's Bloods. Camberwell Sports Ground, this has been a big story. So the University Blacks were up by 34 points at quarter time, 43 points at half time. Scotch came rattling back into the game, 7 goals to 1 in the second half, and had a chance to win it in the dying stages, or at least tie it. It was a soccer shot at goal that hit the post, and then the siren went to the Blacks, 9-8-62, holding off Scotch, 8-9-57 at Camberwell Sports Ground. That's a seismic result as far as the ladder goes. Clark, Gray, Grocott and Campbell Moorfield all with 2 goals for Dale Bauer's men. We head over to Waverley Oval in East Malvern, and it was St Bernard's on the road doing it nicely, 11-15-81 to 7-7-49 victors. The Snowdogs, who have shown themselves a bit of ability this year to play away from home, very different to last year where they didn't win a game when they weren't playing at their beloved St Bernard's College at the Snake Pit. And in the last game, which is still going at Toorak Park, and this one is live on vafa.com.au, the 2:30 start, so we're only 11 minutes into the final term. It's the Tunners, the Old Brighton, 14-11-95, leading the Old Zaverians 8-4-52. So 43 points up at Toorak Park. The Tunners, they look like they'll continue their undefeated start to the 2025 home and away season. Hugo Higginbotham, the eye is drawn to the University Blacks, and particularly the other side of the result, Old Scotch, who have got off to a really poor start to their premiership defence.
Definitely. So you'd want to look at that first quarter, wouldn't you? You want to break that down and see, because that's defining. They came home strong and well, but then we talk about pressure as well. Cardinals will have, I don't know, they're a confident bunch, but there's a lot of pressure on the Cardinals now. You don't want to give away a loss at the start of the season at all. I know they come home strong, but they're starting to build. They're starting to build those losses.
For total facility maintenance, the winning coach, Anthony Plugger Lynch, now joins us in the commentary box at the Harry Trott. Plugger, it wasn't pretty in that second half, but I reckon the result and the way that you won that game, it would have pleased you to no end. How do you review it?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was incredibly proud of their second half. I thought we got totally outworked in the second quarter, and in a relatively low-scoring game, when the margin gets out to 13 points, it's probably more significant than that. So, yeah, I thought our third quarter to get back in the game was significant, and then I thought we handled the last sort of 15 minutes really well. I think we got to 2 goals, then they got back within a shot. I just thought we handled the moments really well. Like, there were so many stoppages. You can give away sort of shitty free kicks, and I just thought we just kept working our way up the ground, and then obviously for Gussie to get one to sort of give us a, was it 7-8 point margin was really like, but still there was still time for him to score. So no, I was really proud of that. I was super pumped. I reckon that's one that can really kick us on.
I thought probably good to see you up here warming up too.
Yeah, it was freezing.
You are shivering.
I am shivering.
But probably the first 7 or 8 minutes of that third quarter as well, they had a lot of looks at it as well. So your boys defended really, really well, put a lot of pressure on them. Yep. And probably your older heads prevailed in that situation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought Seaton and Andruski in particular were very good. And I thought Sam Cameron's first game back in the midfield was really big in that second half. So probably shouldn't individualise because everyone has moments. Yeah, I thought our leaders were very good, which they sort of need to be. But that's what they're there for, and you expect them in those times to step up, and I thought they did.
I think there's 2 big stories around this win, Plugger. You trained during the week using wet weather conditions. I'm still interested if you just flick the sprinklers on or how you managed to do that. So that's one element. You were prepared for the wet weather.
Yep.
And also, I was looking through the Premier Data stat sheets. And there's a great wealth of knowledge that you can find there. And I couldn't really find a split between you and the Lions on a bunch of areas until I got to tackles and pressure. And it seemed to me that they were clearly a better tackling and pressure side than you coming into this contest. Not only did you match them, I think, especially over the course of that second half, but you probably beat them in it late when it mattered. So, I mean, that's I feel a real feather in your cap as far as coaching goes, and as far as for your team to be able to win a game that was quite ugly towards the end and play to the conditions. What goes into that kind of preparation as a coach?
I think it was just I don't actually look too much into the weather, albeit there was just a lot of chat through our group, and even the coaches saying it was going to be wet on Saturday. So when I looked a bit deeper, I could see it was sort of high probability of rain. So even when, selection decision, when Critch was probably 50-50 to play, I thought, well, it might not be a bad idea, but to bring in sort of a smaller pressure forward. And even if it had to end up being dry, that wasn't going to be an issue for us because we've got enough tools there anyway. But it was more around, all summer you train sort of, ball movement and sort of all the fun and slick stuff. But it can often be an early wet game in the year. I mean, even think when Collegians beat Scotch that day. If there might be one team that's just a little bit more ready for it, that doesn't take sort of half a game to get into it, and I just wanted to make sure that we were ready should it come, and it's much easier to flick the switch the other way and go, hey boys, just go play. Let's dry, let's go. But I just wanted to make sure if it come that we were ready for it. So, I mean, it wasn't so much trying to replicate conditions, it was more replicating what the game looked like. Obviously stoppage, kicks down the line, outnumber, not taking the ball off the line. They just had to train that because they're so used to trying to be a bit more aggressive. I just need to remind them what that looked like. So we did about 20 minutes of that. And it was really at probably quarter time where I said, okay, it's now time to go into that right now. And then when the patches of rain come, I could hear them screaming at each other like we did Thursday night, so it was good.
Yeah, good. Just noticed halfway through that last quarter, mate, you probably went away from that long kick down the line stuff, started to open the ground up a little bit more, and I thought Gunson was huge out on this wing. And they weren't giving him any respect and left him on his own out there. Was that a message that came out from you guys? Or?
Yeah, well, I just sort of we spoke about it at the break. I just said, look, my strong preference is still 80 or 90% of the time to take the length in the game, just because there were stages where we would try to handball, turn over, and the ball goes so far the other way So it was definitely a territory game, but I said there's always an asterisk, and that's if it's a good runner and a good ball user who can get into space, absolutely still take the game on. So we give them a permission to do that, and mostly they got it right. There was an occasional one where I think, someone tried to pull the trigger when we're up by 4 points and went straight to purple jumpers. Thankfully, like they do a bit, our back saved us. But yeah, you've got to take the good with the bad. And, I mean, I know you interviewed Gussie Hanrahan. I thought his second half was outstanding.
Yeah.
He's been crook all week, but he started the last goal he started in the D50. He just worked his ring off to get there, which was really significant. Yeah.
So we speak a lot, Plugger, about the guys you don't have out there. So the guys like Billy Coates and Benny Mansfield, both Marnies, Jack and Elliott, Vince Aducci, who's coming back and he's close, but. You have this ability, it happens every year, I'm always amazed by it, to find 3 or 4 young blokes who just step into the side and perform so well. So the likes of Xavier Duke and Dexter Prime who comes in, and Seb Duffy and Gussie Phillips. How do they keep fitting in so well? What happens at your footy club to bring in all these 18, 19, 20-year-olds that step up to senior footy and look like they've been playing with the likes of Tommy Jock and Cam Hodges and Luke Winter for years?
First and foremost, they're obviously really capable footballers. Yeah. But I think we've got a good history, certainly in the time that I've been coaching, that, if they're good enough, they'll play. And, even in our 22 premiership, we probably had maybe 7 or 8 guys who were sort of in the 19 age bracket, Mansfield, Winter, Tucker, not Hardy, but Darmody, etc. They were all sort of first or second year players. So hopefully they think that if their form's good enough, that the senior coaches will back them in to pick them. And then it's also just trying to simplify the game. So we probably go really hard at our leaders around structure, and then we probably let the young guys play a bit more and rely on field coaching, so that if they're in the wrong position, we let our leaders put them in the right position. But so trying to simplify the game, and I give them very clear instructions about what we're looking for. So Tommy Fan today was literally just pressure forward, which sounds simple, but a really important role. I think he's ended up kicking 2 goals for the day. So he takes his chances and impacts the result.
You mentioned Angus Hart just a moment ago. I've never seen someone switch to fullback, take to order so well. He had a big job with Alex Lukic today, the competition-leading goal scorer. Only got the 1 goal. Albeit the conditions worked into his favour a bit, but his first half in particular, I thought he was close to your best. Yeah, no,
I'm really happy for him and Sam Tucker. They're best mates. Neither of them had played a game in the backline before this year. We made a decision over the summer to flip Critchley and Hart, just for a number of reasons. But obviously, we see Hardy as being a key back for the next decade, while Critch is clearly close to the end. And then we thought we were potentially still one genuine key defender short, but we just thought, with guys like Seaton and Andrewski who play above themselves, that we could make it work. But it was almost round 1 against Scotch where we just thought, no, we are a bit light on here. So I spoke to Tuck that week. I said, mate, you've been a really solid, a fantastic player through wing and even as a forward. But I said, I think you've got all the attributes to be a back, and we're light on. So all of a sudden now we've got 2 6'5" backmen who are still learning their craft. They're doing it together as best mates. Steve Gillam, who's obviously a great mate of mine and a Scott Premiership player, he's been working with them really closely, and they just really start to look like key defenders. Now, they're 5 games into hopefully a long career, but God, it makes a difference for us because it means Andrewski and Seaton and these guys and Jock can be a little bit more sort of roll off and help them and sweep up ground balls, etc. So I think both those guys are going really well.
So talking about another young guy, being such an accomplished ruckman as you are, how did you see the battle between the 2 young bulls there today?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought as I said, I haven't seen Jonty before, but I'm assuming he's new to Collegians this year, is he?
Yeah. About out of sale, so first year.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, I love big guys to be aggressive, and he looks aggressive. I thought Hamish was really good, and again, in particular, I thought his second half was outstanding. I thought Jonty started to get some momentum for them in the second quarter and start to get some big knocks forward, which helped them. But I thought Hamish's, I thought his second half was outstanding. So he's only played 5 or 6 senior games, maybe 7 or 8. But given Coates is such a dominant figure for us, he's really had to bide his time. So we've got a really tough it's a difficult one to manage over the coming weeks when Coates is ready to play. Because I just don't think we'll play 2 rucks. So I guess it's a good problem to have. There's some clubs that sort of struggle to have 1 ruck, and we've got 2 really good ones. So I thought he was really influential today. Yeah,
excellent. It was good fun to watch too. Now, talking about that, you've got some good problems coming up, haven't you? With 4 or 5 coming back. I think we're talking Marnie, Mansfield, Aducci. They're lining up to get in the door again, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And look, I mean, I know everyone like our depth's so strong, so I'm not definitely wouldn't want to make it sound like we're missing players, because there's nothing that frustrates me more than when everyone tells me how many players they're missing.
Yes.
But it's probably just shows how strong our depth is. I reckon there's 10 or 12 guys who didn't play today who have played a lot of senior footy. If I include guys like Liam Walters, the Aducci, the two Marnies, Coates, etc. And then there's a group that potentially will come through reserves for Mansfield, as you said. So Jack Darmody as well. So who knows what that sort of best forward line mix looks like and that team. But yeah, we've got some selection problems. But you take that every day of the week over the scraping the barrel option. And really it comes down to then form. The best thing as a coach is, and Pete, that they, I do believe teams pick themselves. Like, there's always going to be a 50-50 call where, okay, you take in some other factors, but fundamentally players in form get to play. And I think that when you've got that depth, I'm seeing some of our more experienced players play a bit more on the edge because they know that there's no comfort factor here. Like, if you're not in sort of good form, Tom Ferguson and Sam Critchley's two others we forgot about, by the way. They're pretty handy.
That's about a dozen.
Yeah,
so good luck.
But so I guess, but it's great because they would all sit there today thinking, shit, where do I fit?
Yeah.
They would watch this game and think, where do I fit in? So, yes, it's a challenge, but I'm very happy to have it.
No, isn't it always funny? It's the 22nd player, the discussion's always about on the Thursday night. They take the longest. Everyone else just, he goes there, they slot in and then says last one.
And look, I've got a great relationship with the players. I love those boys. And, the selection thing's the hardest part of the job. It is. Yeah. Whether it's finals are a different beast, but I hate dropping players on for a round 5 game. There's no winner out of it. The flip side is giving guys debut games, but it's a really difficult one for us to manage, but we just try and be as transparent and open as we can, and ultimately form will be the best 22 in form will play every week. It's as simple as that.
And the players will understand that
too.
Of course. Right, now you've got a reasonable month coming up, so you've got Haileybury, Blacks, Scotch, and then Zabs. Yep. How far forward do you plan for things like this? Or
no, honestly, I never look further forward because you honestly I have such great respect for this competition. You just can't look too far ahead. When we had a block, when I looked at the draw and I thought, okay, we played Brighton, Xavier, Scotch in the first 4. Yeah. I looked at it and thought, geez, that's a tough month to start. But to be honest, I didn't even know. I knew we had Haileybury next week, and I hadn't looked any further beyond that. Yeah, because I knew we played Scotch round 9, which is a bit of an anomaly because we played them twice before we played Bernards. But what happened in the results today?
Well, as we look at it, so Old Haileybury, they were down at half-time. They won that game by 20 points. The Blues didn't kick a goal in the second half. The University Blacks led Old Scotch at Camberwell Sports Ground by up to 7 or 8 goals. Scotch came rattling back into the contest and fell 5 points short. St Bernards by 32 points over D-La, and the 2:30 game, Old Brighton are 55 points clear of Old Zaverians, so the Tunners continuing their unbeaten run to start the year. Plugger, we'll let you get back to your team and the celebrations. Fantastic win today. Congratulations.
No,
and thank you for joining us.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys.
Anthony Lynch, the coach of St Kevin's, after a pulsating 8-point victory over Collegians in the wet weather. Hugo Higginbotham, a pretty good day, all told at the Harry Trott. A good game of footy, a tight game of footy, and plenty to talk about across top flight.
Definitely. You can see how well coached they are there. He's a great bloke, Plugger. And the effort they put in during the week paid dividends at the end. And but I did notice him pacing up and down the boundary line there. He was very invested during the game, which was good to see. But, they've got themselves in a good situation, haven't they? They've got they've gone through the hard month, so they've got every game's hard, but not as hard as some. And with those players coming back, they could have another senior team nearly, I think, Paddy.
This is our post-match show, all thanks to Total Facility Maintenance. Simon Petch will bring you back in for our mark of the day and goal of the day. What was your selection for a few of those? There weren't many goals out there. It was a pretty tough one to pick out when we only had the 15. Did anything stand out to you?
Well, goal of the day, there were... I can't remember. To be honest, I can't even remember what happened 5 minutes ago. But Hugo is just pointing here at Thomas, was it?
Yeah, Dylan Thomas.
Yeah, that'll go with Hugo because I can't remember. To be perfectly honest with you.
So Dylan Thomas for Core. They partner with leading international manufacturers to provide world-class industrial equipment and accessories across Australia and New Zealand. His left foot banana from a set shot in the driving rain, our goal of the day, thanks to Core. Our mark of the day, thanks to Media Republic. They provide a comprehensive range of media planning and buying services designed to help clients achieve their marketing goals and maximise the impact of their media budget.
Well, Sam Tucker stood out for me. So Goal of the day, wasn't too sure, but Sam Tucker definitely a really good strong mark.
Yes,
that
the,
was.
the reborn key back
In the
wins our
conditions
mark
too.
of the day in the driving rain.
Yep.
Harrison McIlwaine's back in the commentary box and he's thought himself out. How were conditions out in the boundary when you were standing out there for 2.5 hours? Fresh.
I'm glad you said that.
I thought that was a brave conditions. You are, of course, the Premier C reporter across the amateurs, so we will go through our scores from the Premier B and Premier C men's divisions before we jump off air. Have you got some scores handy for us?
Yeah, there's still one game in progress, but there are 4 that have been decided. No real upsets. Both Morris at home were too good for Mazenod, coming out 14-17, 101 to 6-4-40 winners. Ajax on the road continued their strong form, 7-13-55 over Parkside, 2-10-22. Parkdale did what they've been doing at teams all year, 15-10-100 to Milan, 4-5-29. St Bede's another team that are really strong this season, 9-12-66 over Petch, 8-8-56. And still in progress, Glenora hunting their first win within touching distance of Marsden, at Marsden, 7-11-53 Marsden, 8-3-59 to Glenora.
You can read Harrow's article on vafa.com.au. You call all the coaches across Premier C. Any favourites to shout out before we go through Premier B?
Owen Lawler's worked up a good gag for me. Parkdale and Brad Berry from St Bede's is a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, he loves a chat, does Brad Berry.
Quick update, Glenora have actually just taken them.
Woof.
9-5-59 plays 7-11-53, obviously hunting their first win of the season.
Guy Martin will be a happy man when you call him on Monday morning. Let's go to Premier B for the results. We've got four full-time scores rather to bring to you. So Caulfield Grammarians 11-16-82 defeating Williamstown CYMS 9-9-63. The Old Melburnians 13-12-90 having it over Old Camberwell 9-7-61. So the OMs, their second win of the season. Camberwell were top of the table going into the round 6. Old Ivanhoe 14-13-97 defeated Fitzroy 7-6-48 and Old Carey 14-16-100 over Hampton Rovers 4-6-30. The live score we have is at Como Park, the 2:50 start. The Og 7-9-51 currently leading Old Trinity 6-6-42 that'll be a crucial game of footy to watch that one unfold. Gentlemen, before we head off there, I just wanted to read out this statement from Fiona Selwood and the Selwood family. Of course, the shocking passing earlier today of Adam Selwood. I'll just read this out from Fiona. We are heartbroken by the passing of Adam earlier today. Words cannot express the grief and sadness we feel. Adam was a loving husband and an incredible father to Lenny and Billy. We are devastated to lose such a wonderful husband, father, son and brother. But we will miss Adam deeply. His spirit, his kindness and the joy he brought to every room, his determination, the lessons he shared and his infectious personality will stay with us always. Adam had a unique ability to make people feel special and our family was lucky to experience that every day. They asked for privacy for the family at this time. So it was shocking news earlier. Of course, Troy Selwood, who passed away earlier this season. A huge blow for the entire footy community, and I'm sure everyone from VAFA HQ sends their thoughts and their well wishes to the Selwood family at this troubling time. Hugo, Simon, Harrison, it's been a wonderful day calling the footy with you today at the Harry Trott. A final word from you, Hugo?
Always a pleasure, Paddy. It was a great call, great game. You both called the lights out of this one. It was excellent, and they have just turned the lights out too, so I think they're trying to kick us out here,
Yeah, we
Paddy.
might have to get out of here, Simon Petch. Thank you. Good to see you as well. Always great to call with you on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, pleasure, Paddy. Nice to meet Hugo and Harrison, and Buttons kept everyone in line today. So well done, Buttons.
He's a superstar. Harrison McIlwaine, you can go home and hopefully put your feet up, although I do think you've got a work shift tonight, so you're back on the horse. Brilliant work. And my name is Paddy Grindlay. Thank you so much for joining us on the William Buck VAFA SEN Match of the Day. We stream every Saturday afternoon from 1:45 on the VAFA website and on the SEN app. It's been a pleasure to have your company. We'll catch you next weekend.
This has been the SEN Match of the Day. Thanks to William Buck. Join us again next week on the SEN app, sen.com.au and vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.